sweeping the Bombers in the Bronx and shocking the baseball world by making a run in the AL East. But less than a week later, the Yankees showed they wouldn't go down easy with a pulsatingly dramatic home run by Carlos Beltran, an epic duel with Troy Tulowitzki, won by Andrew Miller, and a complete game gem by Masahiro Tanaka. The Yankees took 2 of 3 north of the border. Now this heavyweight battle returns to the Bronx, and it begins with a delicious pitching matchup. A 21-year-old rookie poised beyond his years against the Cy Young winner and Toronto's prize deadline acquisition. David Price, Luis Severino, Blue Jays, Yankees. The battle for the East is next on Yes.
Well, it's all set up for a big, big series. How big? Take a look at the American League East standings. Just a game and a half separate these two teams as they embark on a 4-game series now to be played over 3 days. It is indeed time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. Tonight, it's the Toronto Blue Jays against the New York Yankees in the first of 4 from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball along with Paul O'Neill and David Cohn. I'm Michael. Okay, before we talk about the game, Yankees had some bad news today. Mark Teixeira went in for another test. They found a fracture in the leg. He will be out 3 months, so obviously will not play again at all this season. And even if the Yankees go deep into the postseason, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But the pitching matchup in this game, it is a beauty. It's brought to you by People's United Bank N.A. See what know-how can do for you. It's Young against Cy Young. David Price is the guy who won the Cy Young. Luis Severino is the young guy, 21 years old. And David, it doesn't seem like this stage is too big for him.
No, quite the opposite. I think the thing you anticipate with a young 21-year-old is he's going to be a little bit overmatched. But he's the one doing the overmatching so far. I mean, electric stuff. Fastball in the mid-90s. He's shown power, sliders, and a good changeup to go with it. Severino is the real deal, and he's really a phenom. And the definition of a phenom, Paulie, I think, is a guy who lives up to the hype. He's certainly doing it.
A guy who's lived up to the hype for most of his career. David Price out of Vanderbilt, pitched big games for Tampa Bay. Key deadline acquisition here for Toronto, and he's lived up to his billing.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, the Blue Jays knew what they were getting when they got him. Ex-Cy Young player, power pitcher, gives you innings, gives you win. 14-5 on the year, but 5-0 since he's been in Toronto. He's the guy that they wanted. He's the guy they got. He's going to be tough to beat.
What a matchup. Price against Severino. Yankees against the Blue Jays. And the Yankees will be without that man, Mark Teixeira, arguably their MVP. When we get back, Meredith Marakovitz has more right here on Yes.
The Yankees received some tough news on the injury front. Mark Teixeira will be out the remainder of the 2015 season after tests revealed a fracture in his leg. General Manager Brian Cashman was on hand earlier today to talk about the situation.
Disappointing news. I feel bad for Mark, who's had, one of the reasons we're where we're at is because of everything that clearly Mark did this year for us.
It's been really painful, I know the difference between pain and soreness. It's been painful since day one, so we were just kind of trying to figure out why it wasn't healing, and today we figured it out.
I just feel bad because as a competitor, he wants to be in there, pushing us as far as this team can go. And, right now he's going to be denied that opportunity.
Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. Michael Kay, Paul O'Neill, and David Cohn coming your way next. First of 4 against the Blue Jays after the break.
First of 4 games between the first place Blue Jays and the second place Yankees. The numbers on the kid, Luis Severino, 6 starts in his big league career, and the numbers are outstanding. About a strikeout an inning, less than a hit per inning, 14 walks, a 3-2 record, 2.04 ERA. Opponents hit .215 against Severino. So the Blue Jays are 79-60, and the Yankees are 77-61. Ben Revere's ready. Severino is ready. Let's do it here in the Bronx. The first pitch is a strike, and we're underway. Corey Blazier, the home plate ump. Dale Scott at first, Brian Knight at second. Chris Guccione is over at third. Inside, 1-1.
You can tell by the reaction of that ball in off the plate. It gets your attention when a guy just nice and easy, 96 right in your elbow.
Line drive and a base hit to right center field. Ellsbury cuts the ball off in the gap. Revere's going for 2, and a game-opening double for Ben Revere.
Well, let's go ahead and give you your pitcher scouting report on Luis Severino, and that's brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And Paulie, you're right, he does have elite power stuff. He averages about 95.6 with his fastball. He retains that power throughout his start so far in the big leagues, doesn't lose a tick, actually maybe gets a little stronger in the upside potential with this kid. I mean, when you've got power and control and the type of demeanor he has on the mound, you can understand why the Yankees did not want to trade this kid and why they're so high on him.
Here's Josh Donaldson, likely the favorite to win the MVP in the American League. Pops that one up behind the plate and out of play.
Well, you talk about power stuff and how good his stuff is, but you see that pitch to Revere right down the middle of the plate. It doesn't matter. I mean, he threw 2 good pitches to get there, and he threw one right down the middle.
That chant says it all as we remember what happened on this date in 2001. Terrorist attacks. And looks like Severino fell as he delivered that pitch, and the Yankees are quickly out of the dugout to take a look at their star youngster.
You hold your breath to this day, and I'm sure Stevie Donahue was like, oh no, not again. Somebody you see just kind of caught a spike and tripped. Coney, you've been there, right?
Absolutely. That's actually better than landing first. You see, he caught his spike first, just trying to unwind his kick leg.
What, it made for a nasty changeup, too. You know that?
Yeah, good trick pitch right there, right? The old fall down and throw a changeup.
Stevie Donahue wants to make sure he's okay. And also, to finish our point, we were all in the game in one way or another in 2001, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the families that lost family members in the senseless attacks on 9/11, and we remember them today. The 0-2, 1-2.
Well said, Michael. And, I think one of the interesting stories, Paulie, I read today was Dylan Betances, who was on the Lower East Side in 8th grade when 9/11 happened. Just a remarkable perspective from a kid that grew up on the Lower East Side.
So not forget on the bases tonight. That's on first base right there. And it's... I woke up today, went to work out. I was watching the down at Ground Zero and the names. And it just occurred to me 14 years ago, I was in this same spot watching this same television down, where we used to stay. And it just, no matter how far it goes away, it really never leaves you.
The 1-2. 2-2. Earlier this afternoon, manager Joe Girardi and Dylan Betances brought a wreath to the 9/11 monument, which is out in Monument Park. Scenes like this occurred all around the country, and we shall never forget. It's an event or events that changed the world forever. Runner at second. 2-2 count on Donaldson. Missed inside. 3-2. Top 4, really top 5 of this lineup is about as difficult to navigate as any top 5 in baseball. Coming up next is Jose Bautista and his 33 home runs, and then Encarnacion, and then Tulowitzki. Three-two. Driven deep to left field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run into the bleachers for Donaldson. And just like that, Toronto has 2 runs.
I'll tell you one thing, when you throw hard and with a power hitter up there that catches up to it, it goes a long way. You don't see a lot of balls fly above that State Farm sign out in left center field. I'll tell you what, Donaldson has had some kind of year when he's got that leg kick and his timing, it just seems to be everything together. Doesn't really have that beautiful smooth, just a violent power, just hammers it. No doubt about it. We talked to him a little bit in batting practice today about, how he works on his balance and where he's come as a hitter. Just so much more confident. Obviously, you do well, that helps. See up in here. It's a part of the stadium that you don't see too many times.
There's a strike to Bautista, 1-1.
It's right around where Jeter's 3,000th hit was, right? That home run.
Walking around the batting cage and watching the Toronto Blue Jays take batting practice, it wasn't too long ago where they were the cellar of the East and in the cellar of the East, and I think that people realize, how much this team has changed, and obviously by the people that they've added to this team, and it's just so refreshing for these players to realize, we got an opportunity to win.
Two.
It's every general manager's dream at the trade deadline to catch lightning in a bottle. They certainly did that and then some. Also, stealing that guy right there from Oakland has to be one of the biggest heists over the last couple of decades.
Two. Tried to tie him up. 3-2. And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Bautista down on strikes. Tonight's Blue Jays starting lineup presented by your local Acura dealer. You've seen the first 3. Now it's time for Edwin Encarnacion, who will DH and clean up. And Troy Tulowitzki at short. Justin Smoke at first. The catcher is Russell Martin, about 7th. Batting 8th and playing second base, Ryan Goins. And Kevin Pillar in center field is going to bat 9th. They shift for Encarnacion, 3 infielders on the left side, and he fouls it back.
Seems like every Blue Jay player is ready for that fastball, and you know they're a dead fastball team, but they also do adjust and they do make. You know, you see Bautista went for a 3-2 breaking ball. Very smart call from McCann to come back at him.
Yeah, maybe one batter too late, right?
Yeah.
This is definitely the right-handed power part of the lineup that deserves 3-2 sliders, I think, a little more often than not.
Driven out into right center field. That is going to be one hop up against the wall. Ellsbury plays and fires it in, and Encarnacion with a double. Why don't we check out the Yankee defense, which is presented by Geico. In the outfield, Gardner, Ellsbury, and Beltran. That's left to right. Infield, Headley, Gregorius, Ryan, and Bird. Third to first. McCann behind the plate. And the youngster Severino is on the mound. Question for you, David. We've talked about how the stage is not too big for this kid as he leaves a fastball up and away. When does things start to go wrong and he realizes I'm 21 years old and gets a little nervous?
Well, that's the test ultimately, and you have to go through it to understand it yourself. There's just some things you have to learn for yourself. It can't be taught by a pitching coach or even learned in the minor leagues. Yankee Stadium and that mound in the middle of the field is center stage, and there's no way to prepare for that until you're actually on that stage in this kind of environment.
Tulowitzki fouls away, and this environment is literally a battle for first place. The way it plays out could be a make or break series for either team. I mean, if the Yankees swept the Blue Jays, it would be a tough blow for them, and if the Blue Jays swept the Yankees, that could mark the end of their chances to win the American League East. So these games are very important. There's no undersell here.
Watch David Price walk down into the tunnel there, and you know, Coney, you come in as a starting pitcher. Obviously, you want your team to throw up runs, but to get a 15 or 20 minute inning before you take the mound, good, bad?
Well, generally bad. You know, I mean, good. You know, good and bad, obviously. But your arm, and I think, you know, you can stiffen up. But now, today's modern stadiums, you have a mound down below the dugout. I wouldn't be surprised if Price is down there playing a little catch, which is something we couldn't do before. Right. You'd have to run down the right field line at the old stadium.
Hit sharply and past the diving Headley and into left field. Encarnacion rounds third. Here's the throw from Gardner. Here's the play at the plate. He's safe. Just got in ahead of the tag by McCann. An RBI single for Tulowitzki, and the Blue Jays have 3 runs.
Well, Brett Gardner makes a good throw, but it took that second bounce, and you lose a little speed there. McCann was there waiting, and it just wouldn't get there in time. See, as an outfielder, sometimes as you're running towards a line, you can't get everything behind it, and you see that's a 2-hopper, and it takes off a little more time, and it allows the runner just to get in there.
Pretty definitive look overhead right there as Encarnacion with the direct slide. No head first, feet first, and that shot's brought to you, Yesmo was brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
Well, that would have been a big break for the Yankees right there to get the crowd involved. If you get an out at home plate, all of a sudden, you know, if you're watching Severino, he's missing up. He's missed with some sliders up in the zone. Obviously, the home run, a high fastball.
There's Justin Smoke, and there's a strike.
Looks like the Jays are going to settle in with Tulowitzki batting 5th after trying him at leadoff for quite a few games. But now Ben Revere, the leadoff guy.
You know, the numbers Donaldson has put up is in from the second, you know, the 2-hole. But when a guy's been that successful, you don't mess with him. You know, obviously you'd like to have him hitting 5th or 3rd where he has more opportunities driven in league leading RBIs, but you just don't move guys when they're that comfortable. Again, you know, that's a called strike, but that, you know, that's a hanging slider, a ball outside up in the strike zone.
Kind of classic signs of being a little over amped up for a young pitcher, and I certainly can relate to that. It's hard to slow yourself down.
High fly ball, right field. Beltran back on the track. See ya. A 2-run home run for Smoke and a nightmare for Severino. Well, you could not have drawn it up any worse for the Yankees, as Larry Rothschild will go on and talk with Severino.
That's a phone call right there that Joe Girardi didn't expect to make, obviously, in the first inning, but he has just missed with some pitches, and Toronto's just too good of an offensive team. If you miss, see this ball right here, just not quite in enough to get on the handle. Smoke, and these guys you look that are behind these guys that are throwing up huge numbers. I mean, the pressure's off. Anything you do late in the lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays is just kind of gravy, because the middle of the lineup is putting up so many numbers.
So the 15th home run for Smoke. Up and away on Russell Martin. Chris Capuano was up.
It's been a really good approach from the Blue Jays towards Severino, realizing that most of his stuff is hard stuff. Even his slider is hard. There's not a lot of variation in velocity between his pitches.
Struggling. There's a good slider there down and away, but when you struggle with that changeup up in the zone, even your changeup doesn't help, because you know, he missed with Bautista, but then he got him out with a slider. But when you can't get something down and away to hitters, it makes hitting a lot easier.
Swing and a miss. Martin down on strikes.
Finally got that changeup down and in. Almost changed his arm angle there, Coney. Kind of dropped down a little bit.
And you can see it's definitely a power changeup at 89 miles an hour. So once again, there's not a lot of separation between his pitches, so you have to rely on movement and location on those ones. And that changeup had both good movement and good location.
Here's Ryan Goins. Fly ball left field. Gardner back will make the play, and that will do it. But what a note set by the Blue Jays. 5 runs on 5 hits. Yankees coming to bat. Starting lineup that will try to do it, presented by Lexus. Jacoby Ellsbury in center field will lead off. Batting second, playing left field, Brett Gardner. The DH is Alex Rodriguez. He'll hit third. Cleaning up the catcher, Brian McCann. Carlos Beltran's in right field, batting fifth. Batting sixth, playing third base, Chase Headley. Number 7 hitter, first baseman Greg Bird. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, hits eighth, and batting ninth. And playing second base, Brendan Ryan.
Get a look at David Price going through his warm-ups. Very deliberate. Likes to get his rhythm going. You see this will be his 29th start on the year. 14-5 on the year. He also has exactly 100 career wins versus 56 losses. And the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He's a workhorse. There's only 3 guys, Paulie, in the American League that are starters that average 7 innings or more a start. He's third. Dallas Keuchel's first at 7.2 innings. Nowadays, that's more important than ever. So few starters are able to be workhorses like that. And he's also a strikeout artist to go with it. Since 2011, he has the second most strikeouts in the American League to Felix Hernandez, over 1,000 of those.
1-1 to Ellsbury.
1,041 to be specific. And definition of an ace. 4 times out of his 8 big league seasons, he's been in the Cy Young voting, and he won 1 of those. It's going to be 5 for 9 this year. He'll get more votes. Now, if I could be this guy's agent right now, Paulie, I might just walk out of the booth right now, drop the microphone.
Have to do this one?
Because he is going to have a visit with the bank when this season's over.
The 2-1. 3-1 on Ellsbury.
Michael, do you remember April 22nd?
Yeah, we were cold.
Yeah, we were cold.
So was David Price.
David Price. Yeah, I'm just looking at the box score, and I remember that they thought that the Yankees might have his pitches or something. He gave up an 8 spot in 2 innings, and they couldn't get an out. He's been much tougher, obviously, lately against the Yankees. Your mind goes back quick, you know that?
That was a tough day to forget. See the last 4 starts against the Yankees, first 2 and the last 2, he certainly picked it up. First 2 are with Detroit, and the last 2 with Toronto.
Well, he's 22 for 28 quality starts. He's only had 4 starts the entire year where he's given up more than 3 earned runs. So you talk about consistency. He's got his team in the game just about every night.
Fly ball left field, Revere. 1 out. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays defense presented by Geico. We'll start with Revere in left. Pilar with 10 outfield assists in center. Bautista, very good arm out right. Infield, Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Goins, and Smoke. Third to first, Russell Martin's behind the plate. David Price is on the mound.
Saw Revere. I mean, he's been kind of overlooked. I mean, they brought him in, and he has made left field a defensive place. Good defensive player, and has done great things for them offensively. But again, kind of overlooked because of all the big names that they brought in.
It seems like Revere's been underrated playing in Philly on some bad teams down there. Always around 300 batting average.
This is one of those games that, you know, it's a big game. Obviously, you want to get Brett Gardner back in the lineup. But, you know, if he had played 4 or 5 games a week, this might be the game that he would get off. And it just so happens you need to, you know, he's been out of the lineup. You need to get him back in, get his rhythm back in.
2-1. Well, Gardner 1 for 14, 1 for his last 14. Both Gardner and Ellsbury came into the game with identical 267 averages. Very deliberate approach to the plate by Price, the 2-1. And there's a base hit for Gardner. Now let's check the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It was lousy yesterday, that's why the game got rained out. Tonight, 77 degrees, 6 miles per hour the wind, Humidity 56%, clear skies, no chance of showers.
I'll tell you what, the best thing that can happen to the New York Yankees right now is to, in this first inning battle, to get a run across the plate, make you relax a little bit. Got David Price on the mound. The worst thing, you let him get into a groove of getting out after out, and it makes you think like you're playing defense the whole game.
Gardner leads off first, held by Smoke. And the pitch to Alex is a strike on the inside part of the plate.
Alex looking back there. The ball looks, borderline up.
A high cutter.
It's a player you kind of give up on that pitch because you seldom see it called. It's the count that I don't think umpires understand. Strike one or ball one changes the whole at bat. Look at David Price's his windup, and it's not really deceptive. It's just his stuff and where he throws the ball. A lot of guys, you can't pick up the ball well. Michael, you mentioned it's kind of deliberate. It's kind of over the top. So it shouldn't be a tough guy to see. He just has great stuff.
He kind of pitches to lanes with that four-seamer rather than rely on movement. Go right for the corners on both, in and out. Combined with really good control and good life. His velocity's back up this year. Averaged about 93 miles per hour on that fastball last year, well over 94 this year.
Still 1-2.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but really 1 to 1.5 miles per hour over the course of a season on average velocity is kind of a benchmark. Usually it's going the other way down when that sends red flags. Price going back in the right direction. And no wasted movement, right through the catcher. Kind of a recoil action. Stiff front leg. Really a fast arm through the release point.
1-2. High fly ball, right field. Bautista gives it a look and makes the seats.
I think that Alex Rodriguez, when you think about it, with Mark Teixeira going down now for the rest of the year, I mean, he's the big power source now. There's not that, McCann's done a great job hitting home runs too, but with Teixeira in the middle of the lineup with Alex Rodriguez, it was kind of a tandem.
One thing that's underrated about Teixeira and what he did in the middle of the lineup was he was a switch hitter.
Exactly.
In that Yankee lineup with 3 switch hitters, Beltran playing well, swinging the bat well, Headley swinging the bat well. The Yankees generally get the platoon advantage because of those switch hitters more than any other team in the big leagues. They get more of the lefty-righty matchup offensively than just about anybody else, and they've lost that with Teixeira.
2-2.
First inning growing pains for a very talented young 21-year-old.
I got Alex on the foot. Foul ball.
And Severino not only facing a dynamic lineup in the Blue Jays, but a hot one as well. Double trouble.
Hot hitters are better than good hitters, and good hitters that are hot, those are the ones that are dangerous.
Gardner with a 1-out single remains at first. Alex battling at the plate against Price with a 2-2 count. 1 out. 5 runs for the Blue Jays in the top of the first. Two. Swing and a miss. A-Rod down on strikes. 2 away.
I think as a right-handed hitter, a lot of times you start feeling inside off Price, and he throws that ball down and in, swing over the top. You start feeling inside, you kind of open up a little bit too quick, trying to get to the barrel to it. He's out in front a little bit there.
It's one thing David Price does as well as anybody in the big leagues is drive that four-seamer down, that leverage, that old pitching cliche of throwing the ball downhill, especially a four-seam power guy.
Great numbers against Price for Brian McCann. Talked to McCann yesterday. He was disappointed about the rainout. He said, because in a series like this, I wanted to play every single game, and with a doubleheader on Saturday, you just don't catch both games. So he's going to miss one of the four, but he'll be available to pinch hit, of course. The 0-1. There's a strike. 0-2.
Good breaking ball here. After a hard fastball inside, you kind of throw it in the same area and then break it over to the outside corner. As a hitter, at least you've seen the fastball, you've seen the breaking ball. Obviously, you're kind of in an emergency mode here at 0-2.
Grounded to Goins in short right field, and he will get McCann, and that'll do it in the first for the Yanks against Price. No runs a hit. One man left. We go to the second. 5-0 Blue Jays. Irish whiskey. Hashtag glasses up to victory and greatness. Enjoy. Tullamore Dew responsibly. By Advanced Radiation Centers of New York. When it comes to fighting cancer, precision is everything. Call 844-2-RADIATION-DOC. And by RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. 5-0 Blue Jays as we go to the second inning. If you just joined us, a 5-run outburst in the first inning by the Blue Jays against the 21-year-old Luis Severino. A 2-run home run by Donaldson, an RBI single by Tulowitzki, and a 2-run home run by Justin Smoke. Kevin Pillar, the only batter that didn't bat in the first inning, will lead off, and he takes a strike.
You're sitting over there and it's 5-0. You've got to figure out how you can kind of adjust, and the big adjustment is getting the ball down in the strike zone from the first inning.
It's hard to just shake it off. You know, you're kind of stunned like a boxer. You know, you get hit in the jaw like Mike Tyson. You know, everybody's got a game plan until you get punched in the jaw. And Severino took an uppercut in the first inning. You got to shake it off.
He did go down once out there, didn't you remember? He tripped and went down.
Since that point, yeah, he kind of lost his rhythm a little bit. Second time he's faced the Blue Jays. The first time he blew a lot of fastballs by them in Toronto with his 9 strikeout performance.
Chop to Gregorius. One away. August 16th, you'll see the line they had against the Blue Jays. Gave up 5 hits in 6 innings, 3 runs. Walked 3, struck out 9.
The best stuff we've seen from him was that day, Paulie. I mean, Carlos Beltran lost a ball in the sun, and then after that, it would have been the 3rd out of the inning. After that, he hung a slider to Bautista that he hit for a 2-run home run. But he regularly threw his fastball by these Blue Jay hitters in a day game. Blue Jay hitters took note. Came out ready to swing the bat at everything number 1 today in that first inning, tonight in that first inning.
1-1.
From my understanding, the more you talk to some of the Toronto guys, Bautista's a guy that really kind of studies pitchers, understands counts and how pitchers go about getting you out. And I think he's hugely responsible for the turnaround of Encarnacion. You know, there's usually a couple guys in that lineup that people will sit around and listen to. And I think Bautista is that guy with the Blue Jays. Talk about a steal. You look at Edwin Encarnacion, and he came over from Cincinnati. I mean, he was struggling to hit 200. All of a sudden, he's a force over here offensively. Severino still having trouble getting that ball down.
And that's going to bring up Josh Donaldson and also brings us to the Jeep hitter scouting report.
Oh, MVP. There's no doubt about it. After 2 very good seasons, he's had a career year leading the AL in RBIs and runs, extra base hits. And he's carrying the offense. The last 38 games, 363, 13 home runs, and 47 RBIs. And the Jays have gone 29-9. And A-Rod, what? A-Rod's the only third baseman to lead Major League Baseball in RBIs and runs. Donaldson, at this point in the season, is leading both.
Well, Billy Beane has such respect throughout baseball. And you look at these numbers since July 30th, what Donaldson's done. But when you see 2 guys that are having MVP-type seasons, one guy, Josh Donaldson, will probably win the MVP. Yoenis Cespedes, who hasn't been with the Mets long enough, is playing like an MVP, and Billy Beane traded both of them. And the trade for Donaldson, I mean, there has to be an inside story that we don't know. Because people around baseball always looked at Donaldson and said, this guy is a player. And to trade him essentially for Brett Lawrie, that's a tough trade for Billy Beane.
And send Meredith, and she gets the inside scoop, right?
Meredith want to send her to Oakland?
Yeah, but no, by tomorrow she'll find that inside story that we need to figure this one out.
Well, Graveman's been pretty good for the A's too, so there are some other pieces to that. As you see, a couple of pitchers, a righty and a lefty, and a young shortstop. So to be determined on the back end, possibly.
Runner goes, throw to second. A stolen base for Revere.
The thing that Revere offers is speed, and you talked about his defense. You also talk about his ability to steal a base. Good jump. McCann's been good this year, throwing runners out, getting rid of the ball, but not much of a chance there. Airborne on that head first slide.
Donaldson fouls it away.
The thing that's been impressive about Donaldson, Paulie, is, you know, you see Bautista or Encarnacion swing and miss, you know, more times than this guy does. Donaldson with a big swing, big power. Rarely see him swing and miss.
And guys that take that big of a swing and don't swing and miss a lot, to me, just see the ball better than your average hitter. Most guys, everybody can see the ball, obviously, when you pick up the seams, but when you see the ball a little bit better, you talk about Ted Williams, guys like that had that unbelievable vision. You can wait just an instant longer, and you still have that ability to take that big swing with 2 strikes.
Swing and a miss. Donaldson down on strikes. 3rd strikeout for Severino, 2 away. That brings up Bautista.
Right on cue. I jinxed him.
Absolutely. But again, I mean, that's a high slider. It's just everything's up in the strike zone. See that big high leg kick, that's where he generates a lot of power. Looks like he was looking in there and kind of just whiffed it one away.
Fouled away.
And you watch it, Bautista, how close he is to the plate. You think you would be able to jam him, but he is so quick inside, and that's where he can really drive the ball. This right here is down the middle to him, that outside corner, because he is so on top of the plate. His ability to be quick on the ball inside allows him to do that.
One and two. Five nothing Blue Jays. 5 runs in the first inning. Runner at second base now. 2 outs. Severino has thrown 50 pitches. An inning and 2/3 in. Here's 51. Strike 3. Bautista down looking. Probably Severino's best pitch of the night. No runs, no hits, no errors on 1 man. Left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. 5-0 Blue Jays. Dealer. The Yankees come in a 1.5 games behind the Blue Jays in the East. Now they have a 4.5 game lead over the Rangers for the second wild card, but the Rangers are trying to hold off the Twins. Twins just a game behind Texas, and the Angels 3 behind the Rangers as well. Here's Carlos Beltran. You know, Meredith talked about it in the open. The Yankees received official word today after they sent Mark Teixeira for another test that there is indeed a fracture in his leg. And the recovery time is 3 months. Most people were assuming that he was going to be out for the year, but now there's no waiting for Mark Teixeira to miraculously recover. He is not coming back this year. Even if the Yankees go deep into the playoffs, it's a bad break, no pun intended for him. He was having the MVP season for the Yankees, and it reminds a lot of people with the Yankees, and Brian Cashman said, about the 2001 playoff injury to Jermaine Dye when he broke his leg on a similar play. So they took several tests before this. Nothing came up. It was just a bad bruise. But now today they found the fracture. So Greg Bird is the first baseman the rest of the way.
Yes, he is. You know, in our own Meredith Marakovitz has had a lot of experience with that personally in her college athletic career, with those types of tests and fractures, and hard to find. And
let's hear from Meredith about that.
And you know what, I think it's important to note with Mark Teixeira, it wasn't just that he was seeing Yankees doctors, he also saw doctors in Atlanta as well who also did not think there was a fracture. But Mark Teixeira continually said he was hopeful that he would be back, but maybe it was wishful thinking looking back, knowing that something just wasn't right there. Every time he took a step, he'd feel something in his leg, and the inflammation started to cause issues with his nerve as well. And today really told him exactly what was going on, that it was in fact fractured. And he was asked multiple times if he had any idea why the test didn't show that in the first 2 rounds, and he said it was just something that did not show up until later. No doctor could really explain it. It was just kind of one of those things.
Now, Paul, you've had experience with this where many tests didn't turn up an injury, and then finally it did.
Yeah, twice. I mean, at one time I hit the wall in Tampa Bay, x-rays, everything. They said, just bruised and everything, and hurt. 3 or 4 days later, you take another test, another MRI, and then finally they find a little fracture in your rib. And it just, with all the blood and all the swelling that goes around with injuries, sometimes it takes a while for those little fractures to show up.
Count 0-2 on Chase Headley. 5-0 Blue Jays. Time call. Teixeira was actually at the stadium today, and when Brian Cashman made it official that Mark is out for at least 3 months, recovery time, Mark did meet with the media. The 0-2 swing and a miss, and here's what Mark had to say to the assembled press.
Can't really put into words how disappointed I am. This team, I feel like this team has a chance to win a World Series. I really do. And not to be able to be on the field during that run is really tough to take.
This is a guy who got himself into unbelievable shape for the season to prove everybody that he was not done, that it was injuries the last couple of years, and boy, he did prove it. And then an unfortunate foul ball ends the season. Just a tough blow for him, and a tough blow for the Yankees.
And Michael, Teixeira really said this is just a situation where he was unlucky. There was nothing he could have done to prevent it, and the question was asked whether or not him coming back for that one game and pinch hitting did anything to further the injury, and they said no. They believe that fracture was there all along. It just wasn't detected on those tests.
And David, you mentioned it before. I mean, Greg Bird's done a nice job. He's not Mark Teixeira. He's not Mark Teixeira defensively. He's not a switch hitter. He's not the threat Teixeira is offensively. It's a big loss for the Yankees. No way to cut it otherwise.
Yeah, it really is. It's part of the roster and really the lineup construction. Very, in my view, very brilliantly designed by the Yankees and Cashman.
Right.
All those switch hitters, Paulie, I think the Yankees by a wide margin. I mentioned it before, but it bears repeating. They enjoy the platoon advantage more than any other team in the big leagues because of those 3 switch hitters in the middle of that lineup. Teixeira, a big part of that.
1-2.
And again, this is one of those starts that, ideally a manager could give Bird the night off against a Cy Young type tough lefty. You want certain matchups to gain confidence with young players. Now, and the other thing is you get him out there every single day. You get him into some big games. So when you get to that playoff atmosphere or the wild card, wherever you end up, you're much more primed for those big at bats.
Swing and a miss, and Price has a strong second inning as he strikes out the side, all swinging. We go to the third. Blue Jays 5 and the Yankees nothing. Shot of the 9/11 tribute in light, and that consists of 88 lights located south of the World Trade Center. It goes on at dusk and remains on until dawn. Twin beams first pierced the sky on March 11, 2002, 6 months after 9/11, the site where 2,753 people were killed at the World Trade Center 14 years ago. Encarnacion swings and misses at the first offering of the third. It's 5-0 Blue Jays. They struck early, scoring 5 against Severino, who's still in there. Encarnacion doubled to right center and then came around to score. Audi A3 scoreboard, 5-0 Toronto. Strike.
See the body language from the young phenom, as we called him, Luis Severino, that got smacked around in the first inning, but a little different, right? A little wind out of the sails.
Encarnacion walks.
Certainly a learning experience for a young pitcher. One of the best games I ever saw, Paulie, was guy Dennis Martinez, El Presidente. Had the same kind of start. 5 runs in the first inning, and in the 8th inning, he was still out there. There were still 5 runs on the board. He never gave an inch. His team actually came back for him in that game. It's a lesson that has to be learned on your own. Severino won't be allowed to throw that many pitches that El Presidente did that year, but certainly are judging right now and evaluating a young pitcher and how he reacts to this adversity.
Tulowitzki with a fly ball to right. Beltran's there.
It's a humbling game.
Well, there's no doubt, and you look at all the numbers and everything with the Blue Jays, but this team can be pitched to. I mean, if you make the pitches, you see them throw up 10 spots, 12 spots, 7 runs, but you know, you also see some games where, you know, they struggle to score a run. A guy that can really, you know, locate and change speeds, you can get these guys out, but you make mistakes, as you saw Severino did in the first inning, you're going to give up big numbers. The chances are, throughout the game, you know, you're going to make some mistakes, and they just don't miss them.
There's a strike to Justin Smoke. Did miss a mistake in the first inning. Pounded a 2-run home run to right. And he's supposed to be the easy part of the lineup. His 15th home run of the year.
Now a quiet 15 bombs.
Now has 48 ribbies. Well, since July 29th, they've won 29 of 38 games, close to 280 average, score just over 6 runs a game, 61 homers. They've pitched well, and that's the best record in Major League Baseball over that span.
I haven't seen that light in John Gibbons' face in a long time. He's a dour one, you know, great guy, but boy, he's lit up. You could just see just a whole different demeanor for this guy. His second go around with the Blue Jays. Very rarely a guy that got fired from that same job and brought back a few years later. Very rare. Whole different story this time.
And the thought was he was going down again, and so was the young GM Alex Anthopoulos, but traded away a lot of the future to win right now. It looks like they will make the playoffs in some way, shape, or form. So does that save Gibbons? Does that save Anthopoulos? There's a new president now, Mark Shapiro, who came over from Cleveland. That one gets by McCann as Encarnacion goes to second.
I just don't see him finding that changeup tonight. I mean, he's made a couple of them, but for the most part, he's missed with them up. And you see this one just overthrown down. No chance for McCann. That ball hit 10 feet in front of home plate.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard one to get into blocking position on. And even if he got down to block it, it probably would have bounced over his head because it was so far in front of home plate.
And a walk to Smoke. So Larry Rothschild talks things over with Joe Girardi. No one warming right now. Capuano was up in the first. Somebody will get up in that bullpen shortly, as Severino's already at 64 pitches.
This is where a leader on the infield, somebody needs to go to the mound and give him a pep talk. Say, come on, turn it around here. Show me something. Fight.
And how many times did you see Jeter do that? Walk from shortstop. And you know, it's just a word or two that can help you as a pitcher. I'm sure that, you know, when you were young, guys would come in and say stuff. And that, believe me, when you're a veteran pitcher, a lot of times you don't need it, but as a young pitcher, you do.
Absolutely. You're challenged a little bit. Forget it's just a 21-year-old on the mound out there. You know, it's the first time, first adversity, even though it's a brief career so far. His 7th big league start.
2-0.
What you don't need right there. So you finally do make a good changeup, and then it doesn't get called.
And Rothschild wants to try to settle down Severino, so no infielder came over, so they send the pitching coach out. And there is action in the bullpen. Sorry, David.
No, not at all. I mean, what needs to be said is, you know, hey, let it go. That's done. What's done is done. We need you right here. Show me some fire. Challenge these guys. Get the ball back over the plate. If you give it up and they hit it, so what?
I mean, you're at 66 pitches. You know, let's get to 100. Let's get you to the 5th inning and feel good about what you did and what you bounced back from. Obviously, you're in another tough situation right here.
You saw Chris Martin up in the bullpen. They called him up today with the doubleheader tomorrow. They're going to need pitching, so Martin was called up from Scranton. There's the breakdown: 36 strikes, 30 balls. First and second, one man out, and a 2-0 count on Russell Martin. Strike.
to see the movement and stuff on Severino. Not anything like the highlights you were talking about pregame. And it's what do you do as a pitcher? Sometimes you just don't have your great stuff. What he's going to learn is how to get outs without his great stuff at some point.
Yes, making quicker adjustments on the fly, really the key thing to learn for a young pitcher. Once again, another thing that really can't be taught. You have to learn for yourself.
2-2. How long did it take you, David?
It takes a lot of games like this. You get beat up early in the game. You get tired of it. You start going to something else quicker. You start making adjustments quicker. Release points, rhythm and timing on the mound. Speed it up, slow it down. You see, in the first inning, he was a little too fast with his rhythm. Now it's just a little too slow. It's sort of like a dance step. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first, and now it's just a little too slow. Now it's 1, 2, 3.
You want to go to the 2-step here, Cody,
Exactly.
just in case?
Do a line dance.
Change the move. I'll tell you another thing that helps you, Coney, and it comes with being a veteran pitcher, is you give up 3 or 4 runs, and then you learn how to shut them down, and you end up winning some games that way. And all of a sudden you realize that, games aren't over because you give up a few early. Another guy, and I've said it in many starts, is Michael Pineda. If he gives up runs early, you can really tell in his body language something that he's going to really have to get better at, because, he's got that kind of stuff to be an ace too. But if you give up a couple runs in the first inning, you've got to be able to bounce back and turn that page. And it goes straight to hitting. You have a horrible first at bat, that can't lead into a horrible game.
Two. Rounded up the middle and threw for a base hit. Encarnacion will score. Smoke stops at second. The throw comes into third. RBI single for Martin. 6-0 Toronto.
That's probably going to be it. I mean, again, another hanging breaking ball, and it just cannot find the bottom of that strike zone. You see, this ball just spins and hangs. Not hit that hard, but found a hole.
Well, in his biggest start of his young big league career, Severino has his worst start, as Joe Girardi makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. He's 21 years old. There'll be a lot more starts, but he's going to remember this one for a while. September 27th, and the first 10,000 guests 14 and younger in attendance will receive a limited edition Yankee Stadium exclusive tie beanie buddy named Cleats. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Now, David, there's no way for you to absolutely know this, Did the stumble on the mound have anything to do with this?
You know, that's speculation on our part. I mean, maybe it threw him out of his rhythm. Maybe it was a distraction for him. I don't think we saw anything physically, that was bothering him. Only he can answer that. But I just saw a kid that was amped up in the first inning. He was rushing. Actually got a strike on that changeup. He ended up falling down. Yeah, that's a little bit of a distraction. It's unnerving, but I don't think he had any residual effect physically from any injury or anything like that.
Just trying to, connect the dots. That same batter ended up hitting the long 2-run home run. That was Donaldson. So here's Chris Martin against Ryan Goins. First and second, one out. And there's a strike. So Martin called up today for this very eventuality in case it was a short start. No one, I think, with the Yankees would have predicted 2 1/3 innings for Severino. The way he had been pitching. The 0-1. 0-2.
Won't be long before everybody starts talking. Well, he's a minor leaguer. He's come up. This is a longer season. Is he getting tired? This to me was just a bad game. He tried to do a little bit too much. He couldn't get the ball down in the strike zone. You know what? Even ace pitchers have bad games sometimes.
And Goins down on strikes.
A good breaking ball right here. Sharp breaking ball in and out of the strike zone.
That's the pitch we saw in spring training that allowed Martin to make the team. Really was the surprise of the spring. And kind of Joe Girardi's go-to guy for the first 3 weeks of the season in middle relief. He's finally found his way back.
Line to left field, and Gardner makes the play on the back pedal to retire Pilar. So Chris Martin gets the final 2 outs. One more run, 1 hit, 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the third. 6-0 Blue Jays. Official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. What moves from this past offseason do you think have had the biggest impact on Major League Baseball in 2015 and why? One of the answers we got was from River Avenue U. The Josh Donaldson trade, no doubt, it simultaneously ruined the A's and brought Toronto to the forefront. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius. Keep the conversation going. Didi Gregorius takes a strike from David Price as we start the bottom of the third, and there is the man whose Twitter handle is Bringer of Rain 20. Brought some rain in the first inning. Audi 8-3 scoreboard, 6-0 Toronto. That one has popped up. Martin quickly makes the play. One out.
Remember watching Russell Martin as a Yankee catcher, very athletic, gets out of his stance quick, moves around well. It's a tough play. I mean, to find that ball, get the mask off, and get over there. A lot of guys, have trouble getting out of that crouch position and getting over there.
A fantastic athlete, great condition, without a doubt.
Brendan Ryan getting the start at second base the other night at third base. Mike, remember the plays he made defensively. Had a couple hits. Continues to do that. Obviously, Joe Girardi's going to go with hot hands. I mean, you put out the best lineup on that given night that you think is going to give you the best chance to win.
Line drive, base hit. It'll go to the wall, down the left field line as Ryan gets himself a double.
Right down the middle as Ryan starts it early, gets the bat head out and down the line.
Against left-handers, he's done damage. 12 for 41, that's 293. 7 of the 12 extra base hits, and he's driven in 5.
And when you look at a 6-run game, you almost think offensively you have to be perfect. You have to take advantage of every scoring opportunity you have the rest of the night. There's times where you just don't come through. It's a close enough game if you get enough opportunity. But now when you dig yourself to hold this big, you pretty much have to put every run you have an opportunity to put across the plate.
That's a base hit for Ellsbury, and then it gets away from Goins as Ryan moves to third.
And then you got to get some breaks too, Coney. And in plays like this, obviously this is a break. And a couple runners on.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, the bloop and the blast is a cliche for a reason. This is a little 8-hopper right over the mound. Would have taken a perfect play to get to speedy Ellsbury. It's what caused the rush in the first place. Goins knowing who was running.
Brett Gardner single to left first time up. And Coney, as a pitcher, you make adjustments, especially in times like this. You go breaking ball away, or probably hammer him in with the fastball instead of leading him off where it was a pitch that he just showed that he can handle.
You kind of got the sense that David Price tried to make a statement after that 5-run first, and he struck out the side in the second. But now the Yankees, the ones trying to make a statement, get back in this somehow, some way.
Line to right field. Bautista makes the catch. Tagging is Ryan. He'll score. It's a sac fly for Gardner. Yankees are on the board. Blue Jays 6, Yankees 1.
Could have been a lot more. Good piece of hitting by Gardner. He got his hands in and hit that ball hard. Just didn't find the gap. Well, that's a double. You've got some action. And he went with the hard stuff in, and Gardner got to it easily. Hit the ball hard. It's bad luck.
Here's A-Rod. He struck out in the first inning.
A-Rod, on the other hand, you remember his first bat, a lot of off-speed stuff. And see if he sticks with that. He tries to bust him inside.
He goes the inside route too far, 1-0.
And the inside route with hard stuff, too, at 95.
Ellsbury's at first, 2 men out, bottom of the third, 6-1 Blue Jays. First game of a 4-game set. Donaldson deep at third for A-Rod, fairly close to the line. 1-1.
The pitch inside. Tony, just looking back, I mean, say you had four at-bats against you. I mean, did you look at every at-bat? Do you remember what got me out the time before, what I got a hit on before? Because as a hitter, I can remember every pitch from the previous at-bat and try to, learn something from it.
Yeah, not always as a pitcher. You really rely on your catcher. You remember the out pitches.
Wow, that's amazing, Tony. I used to remember the hits. Remember the out pitches, and I'm remembering the hits.
Yeah, well, you got one guy to worry about. I had 9. I really remembered, the thing I concentrated on was how you finish a hitter, how you make pitches that induce weak contact or swings and misses, how you strike them out. That's the ones I remember. Trying to get into that position to throw something.
I think a lot of times pitchers try to rush to get to that position. They try to rush to get to those 2 strikes, and they make a mistake. And it goes with, the old cliche, one pitch at a time. But, especially with men on third, you want to get to that position where you can get a ground ball or a strikeout. But, you've got to make 2 quality pitches to get there. And a lot of times I think pitchers think ahead too much and don't make the pitches at hand.
2-2.
You see a lot of pitchers, Paulie, that throw the 2-strike pitch in the middle counts and waste it.
Yeah.
Instead of saving it. Greg Maddox, one of the best ever, the Hall of Famer, would save that little 2-seamer that start at your hip and run over the inside corner. He'd never throw it with 1 strike.
Hated it. Couldn't hit it.
He would save it for 2 strikes because he knew it was the way to finish the at-bat. Price very aware of the Yankee Stadium, the nature of Yankee Stadium, and one swing of the bat gets the Yankees back in this game.
2-2. Fouled away again.
And going through Price's mind right now, he's well aware of the scoreboard. You got a 2-2 count on Alex Rodriguez, who's got the platoon advantage. It's a left-handed pitcher and a right-handed batter. There's a lefty on deck, but it's Brian McCann, who hits a lot of home runs here at Yankee Stadium. So kind of pick your poison. I would not give in to Alex Rodriguez here at all if I'm David Price.
Well, this whole at-bat's been inside. He's been pounding him inside. Doesn't want to get his arms out where he can drive something. Try to go away here.
Swing and a miss. A-Rod down on strikes. Yankees get on the board. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 man left. We played at 3 at the stadium. Blue Jays 6, Yankees 1. full of possibilities, full of life.
Well, we talked about it. Great for 38 coming into this series, 29-9 run. I tell you what, it's been weird though, because the last 7 games been hot and cold pitching. 3 games with 1 run allowed and 3 games with 10 or more. So it's kind of been inconsistent. But Big Blue Machine, I mean, they're a wrecking crew. There's no doubt about it. 29% higher than any other team, and which is the best since the 1976 Big Red Machine, Michael, which I grew up with in Ohio. I can give you every name on that.
Center field?
Geronimo. You know, when you grow up in the Midwest in the 70s, you knew the Big Red Machine, and they were a powerhouse. They didn't have the pitching that a lot of teams had, but boy, they would outbeat you. They just beat your brains out every night.
Right back to Martin. Revere is retired. The Lincoln scoreboard. Toronto 6, Yankees 1. I could give you Horace Clark at second when I was growing up, though. You can't do that.
You're exactly right. I guess it depends where you grow up, Mike. That's why you're so tough. You grew up in the Bronx.
That's right.
Coney and I out in the Midwest. Coney was in Kansas City, and I was in Cincinnati. Right? A little different.
Yeah, people actually say hello to you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you both turned into real New Yorkers then. Josh Donaldson hits one deep to center as Ellsbury makes the play. Chris Morton gets 2 quick outs. He got the last 2 outs of the third, and of a concern for the Yankees. You know, they got to right now get at 23 outs out of the bullpen with a doubleheader coming up tomorrow. That is the last thing you need with a doubleheader coming up. And you know, Girardi can only get so much out of Martin. He's gone multiple innings in the minors, but that's 2 innings and a high of 49 pitches. So he's at 7 now. So it's not really the innings; it's the amount of pitches. He was on the DL with right elbow tendonitis, and he came back on May 30th. He said at the time maybe fatigue got the best of him.
Well, I think there's a time clock in Joe Girardi's head right now. It's 6-1. You get to the 6th, 7th inning, and you're still down by 5 runs. Then you start running in some of those guys that you've called up in September. Now, if you turn it around, score a couple runs, 6-3, 6-4, all of a sudden different kind of pitchers are going to be coming into this game.
Bautista singles up the middle with 2 outs.
Yeah, there's plenty of bodies down there. In some ways it takes the pressure off when you're 5 runs down. You don't even have the temptation to use an Adam Warren yet, or Betances and Miller, are an afterthought at this point unless the Yankees can mount a comeback.
And Betances and Miller have had 3 days off, which is kind of an eternity for the 2 of them. 1-0 on Encarnacion. Coming into this game in his last 39 games, Encarnacion hitting .352 with 12 homers and 41 ribbies. And there's another home run. A long blast into the second deck, a 2-run shot. And it's 8-1 Toronto. Wow, what a shot.
Well, the Blue Jays are flexing their muscles. There's no doubt about it. But this is the type of team they are. I mean, when it rains, it pours, and all of a sudden, boom, up in the strike zone. No doubt about it.
They threw a lot of sliders like that, Paulie. I think they gave up over 250 home runs. Yeah, that's where they end up.
There's a strike to Tulowitzki.
You were talking about that 39 game and his number. I mean, he's been on base every single game right now. So it'll be 40 at this point. 2 for 2 tonight.
And he walks the parrot to really rub it in.
Bother you, Coney?
Nowadays, it's a different game.
Yeah.
It really is.
He did run the bases.
I thought Buck Showalter had an interesting comment about it. He said the current players, the modern players, are responsible for this, to govern your game. And if they're okay with it, then he's okay with it. And The thing that changed my attitude a little bit was watching the Dominican Republic team that won the WBC Classic and how excited they were, all the enthusiasm and the emotion they showed, and none of it was to show up the other team. It was to celebrate the game, and I think some of that has been good for the game. You know, the old days of keep your head down and don't show anybody up, that's kind of a thing of the past, and in some ways that's a good thing. And certainly you still want to respect the game. There's a fine line there, and you know when you cross it. You hit a home run like that in the upper deck, you want to walk the parrot, go right ahead.
Walk the parrot.
Jeffrey Leonard had one flap down back with the Giants in the 80s.
I used to walk the dog with my Duncan yo-yo, Mike. You remember that?
Yeah, you were able to do that.
Absolutely.
You know, Paulie, it's sort of the pass the baton to the next generation of players. Now it's your turn. It's your turn to play this game and govern this game. There's definitely a more lenient attitude towards displays of emotion, which for the younger generation is a good thing.
2-2. Well, these two have really hurt the Yankees. 93 games for Bautista, 29 home runs, 58 ribbies, 101 for Encarnacion against the Yanks, 17 home runs and 55 ribbies.
You remember earlier this year, CC Sabathia's biggest at-bat is when he struck out David Ortiz and really hooped it up and hollered and fist pumped on the mound, and Ortiz said that's fine. And of course, all the home run trots from Ortiz over the years. By far the longest time duration by getting around the bases is owned by David Ortiz, and Ortiz said the same thing. Hey, no, it's turnabout's fair play.
Broken bat, looper into left field, a base hit for Tulowitzki. You know what puzzles me, though, David, along those lines is the selected outrage. Like a couple of weeks ago, the Yankees got upset at Carlos Gomez because he got angry that he made an out and slammed his bat down, and Joe Jordy thought that was showing up the pitcher. Well, walking a parrot, I think, is showing up a pitcher too. So, I mean, selected outrage. I don't quite get it. I don't know when you're supposed to be upset and when you're supposed to accept it.
I think how you get upset nowadays is you strike the guy out the next time, or you pitch him tough. You know, you pitch him in, you make him move his feet, push him off the plate, let him know you're out there. Do something about it. David Price, who's pitching in this game, says, you know, it's on me. Just pitch better next time. Don't complain about what happened or how anybody's reacting to it. Just pitch better. Take care of it yourself.
He says that all the time. I think he hashtags it too. Count 0-2.
I'll tell you one thing, coming into this series, you know they get hit, and I know one thing, they can handle the high pitch, they can handle the high fastball, and they can handle the high breaking ball. As you go forward in this series, you're going to have to be able to get that ball down, use both sides of the plate, or these guys are going to continue to just throw out ropes.
Smoke, fly ball to Gardner. That'll do it. But 2 more runs for Toronto on the 2-run home run by Encarnacion. It's 8-1 the Blue Jays. Take on the wild card leading Yankees. Then later, the Tigers and the Indians square off in a game you can only see on Fox Sports 1. Now, coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern on Fox and 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Remember, it's a single admission doubleheader here at the stadium tomorrow. Game 2 of the Yankee Blue Jays doubleheader will be on Yes, beginning 30 minutes after the conclusion of Game 1. Lincoln scoreboard, all Toronto, 8-1. 5 in the first inning. The 0-1 to McCann. Three and one. Boy, did Dave Dombrowski help two teams before he lost his job as the head guy in baseball operations for the Tigers. He trades Price to the Blue Jays and trades Yoenis Cespedes to the Mets. And you could say that those two just started a rocket ship to first place for both of those teams. The Mets have not been the same since Cespedes arrived. They've been unstoppable almost, and the Blue Jays just don't lose. 3-2.
One of the things about Dave Dombrowski is from listening to other general managers talk about dealing with him, is he's very decisive. There's no messing around. There's no weeks on end on, I want this guy, I want that guy. His deals come together quickly. 2 days, okay, this is who I want, this is who you need. Let's make this happen. That's always been his trademark. That's why he's so respected.
Well, the Red Sox are hoping that he works some of that magic with Boston. He's the new head of baseball operations. He's still to hire a GM, but obviously he's going to be calling the shots to try to rebuild the Red Sox. And he's not thinking it's a rebuild. He doesn't think they're that far away. Three-2. Grounded to second. Goins gets McCann. One away. Why don't we check out the starting pitchers for the doubleheader tomorrow? Brought to you by Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. Marco Estrada will start for the Jays in Game 1 against Michael Pineda. In Game 2, Marcus Stroman ripped his knee apart in spring training and really has come back much quicker than anybody could have expected. He's making his season debut. Kid from Long Island for the Blue Jays. Ivan Nova goes for the Yankees again. Game 1, 1 o'clock on Fox. Game 2, 30 minutes after Game 1, right here on Yes. Here's Carlos Beltran against Price. 1-0. Stroman last year 11-6, 3.65. Tore his ACL in his left knee in spring training. It was a big blow at the time for the Blue Jays. There was talk he was going to be their opening day starter. He made 2 rehab starts in the minors and then will make his season debut tomorrow.
Pitcher's fielding practice, Paulie.
So how it happened, I was just going to ask.
Bunt play, very freak accident.
He made the most of his DL time, rehabbing strenuously and then getting his degree at Duke.
I was going to say, he went to Duke. I remember we saw one of his first starts. Michael, you and I did the game together. Good stuff. Not a big guy either, but he's got good power stuff. Had a good year last year.
Check. Did he go? No, he did not. All right, let me ask you. We watched that game. You say not a big guy. I was reading today his actual height. How tall do you think he is?
5'11".
5'8".
5'8"?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
5'8".
Like I said, he's not a very big guy to be a major league pitcher.
And he's doing great.
6'8" on the mound.
We got one of those.
10 inches.
Out of the bullpen.
Yes.
Foul back.
Well, my math is off a little bit. 6'6".
See, you recovered.
I didn't go to Duke.
But you could have. Two.
That was one of the things people used to say about Bob Gibson. That was back when the pitching mound in the 60s was actually 15 inches high. And that was the big change in Major League Baseball after he threw his historic season in the low ones with his ERA, I think 1.12. And Bob Gibson kind of changed the rules of the game. He was so dominating. But another guy you thought was like 6'7", he was about my height, 6 feet, 6'1".
Line drive, base hit. Well, everything that I've heard about Bob Gibson, David, I'm guessing he would not have liked walking the parrot.
No, definitely not.
So base hit for Beltran. Yankees 4th of the night. Yankees have 1 run. They're down 8-1, bottom of the 4th. Here's Chase Headley. He struck out in the 2nd inning when Price struck out the side. You ever get mad at anybody, David, and throw at them on purpose?
No, I didn't believe in that. I mean, I always knew that, Paul O'Neill, my teammate, was going to get thrown at as well, and he would like it, and I had to live with him.
You feel you ever got thrown out on purpose?
Oh, absolutely. There were times, and there were times that you knew it was coming because of what happened by some other knucklehead on the other side. It's just that's part of the game, obviously, but it's not a fun part of it. Everybody, I don't care how tough you are. When you go to the plate and you know you're getting drilled, not a fun at bat.
Base hit up the middle for Headley. The Yankees looking to rally here in the 4th. 1st and 2nd, 1 out.
Yes. The Yankees have been very resilient all year long. We've talked a lot about when they get going, they score runs in bunches, but then on the other end, boy, sometimes they get shut out. It's kind of been an all or nothing offensive year for the Yankees this year. The variance very high for the Yankees.
Remember the beginning of the year, the middle of the year. I mean, they went through stretches where they'd win 10 out of 12 and then lose 7 out of 8. I mean, they were really, really a streaky team, and then they kind of evened out and became good for a long period of time. And you just hope that, coming down this stretch, you reach one of those hot spots, and that's what everybody's hoping for. We were looking at the wild card race earlier in the game, Michael. One of those teams will get hot, right? During the last week, it'll usually propel you into the playoffs. And you have to me, the Anaheim Angels, they could be that team, and they'd be dangerous in a one-game playoff or in a playoff situation. The Minnesota Twins, to me, I mean, they're overachievers. Texas Rangers, they've added Hollins back, they've added pitching. They're a better team than they were in April and May, so they're another team that could be dangerous in the playoffs.
The 0-1. Bird fouls it back, 0-2.
Both Texas and Minnesota with 2 of the strongest farm systems, too. They were kind of thinking about building for the future, and the future might be right now in the last month of the season. Of course, Texas made the trade for Cole Hamels from Philadelphia with an eye towards next year, and that might be the guy you have to face in a one-game playoff.
It's funny how that ended up, because when that trade was made, everybody said, you'll get Darvish back, you'll get Holland back, you'll have Hamels for next year. But you're right. All of a sudden, and Michael, we did a series earlier when they got hot offensively. They could throw some numbers out.
Mm-hmm.
Home field advantage in that particular wild card game, to me, very important. Now, if you're the Yankees, priority number 1 is winning the division. Head-to-head competition, even though you're down 8-1 here, you still have 6 games left with these guys. You still have a very good opportunity to control your destiny in head-to-head competition. a 2-game swing every time. We just saw that in the National League with the Mets and the Nationals. When if the Nationals sweep, they're 1 game out. The Mets sweep and the division's over, 7 games. So that's how important these head-to-head battles become. Almost a 2-game swing every game. There's nobody to help you. When you lose a game, maybe they lose a game.
No scoreboard watch in this series. It's right in front of you. Two. Talking about Texas. Texas up 3-0 over Oakland. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Just after I say no scoreboard watching.
We just want to throw a couple other teams in there, Mike.
Well, you know what? The wild card is a concern. First and second, 1 out. Greg Bird at the plate. High fly ball. Center field. Pilar is there. He'll make the catch. Tagging is Beltran. The throw is cut off. Wow. That's a chance with 2 outs to try to advance to 3rd. But he makes it.
You can see Pilar standing in center field with his hands on his hips. He threw it to the cutoff man. If he throws it right to 3rd base, there's a different story on this play. I think he was surprised by Beltran as he throws it right to Tulowitzki at short, who's semi-lined up but a little offline there. I think Beltran caught a couple of people by surprise right there. Talk about risk reward with base running. Not a whole lot gained here. Although most coaches who teach base running take the base whenever you can. You can score on a wild pitch. There's more ways to score from 3rd, but there's always the risk reward.
So here's Didi Gregorius with runners on 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. And there's a base hit to right field. Gregorius with an RBI as Beltran scores. Headley moves to 2nd. And now it's Blue Jays 8, Yankees 2.
Keep on talking about it. What a better hitter Gregorius is now than he was in April and May. Much more balanced, much more through the ball. It's a tough lefty, and he just lined a rope in a big situation to drive in a run.
Definitely no quit in this Yankee ball club, really, all year long. And I know, Paulie, speaking from experience with you guys, when we were in games like this, you wanted your hitters to feel good about themselves, regardless of what the score was. You still want to see guys get good at bats, fight their way, try to get back in this game, and a carryover effect for the next game.
Ryan fouls it off. He doubled his first time up and scored the Yankees' first run.
Look back at, we were talking about Severino and how, you have a horrible first inning, and then, if you can shut a team down, you take those other 3 runs off, those tack-on runs, it's 5-2, you've got a game here. And, obviously you're still early in the game. A lot of things can happen, but 5-2 is a lot different than 8-2.
Still Yankee Stadium. Still 1 swing away, always.
Headley off 2nd. Gregorius off 1st. 2 men out. We're in the bottom of the 4th. It's 8-2 Blue Jays. Popped up and out of play.
And 0-2 kind of fastball challenge. And Coney, you played the same time I did, where 0-2 was, you weren't even allowed to throw strikes at some points. I see pitchers going much more after guys in 0-2 counts.
No doubt about it. Pitch counts have a lot to do with that. Dick Hauser, the late great Dick Hauser, former Yankee third base coach and Royals manager, had a fine for giving up 0-2 base hits.
Swing and a miss as Ryan chases out of the strike zone. 1 run, 3 hits, and 2 men left. We go to the 5th. 8-2 Blue Jays. They scored 5 in the first. Then they scored another run in the third when they knocked out Severino, and then 2 more in the fourth against Chris Martin. And Andrew Bailey now will be the third Yankee pitcher to come in. Severino, Martin, and Bailey as the Yankees try to piece it together out of the bullpen with a doubleheader coming up tomorrow. So Bailey, who's been out of baseball or trying to come back to the major league since 2013, major shoulder surgery, he'll appear in his third game here with the Yanks. One thing we've seen as he's worked his way back up, the command not there. He's walked 3 in 2/3 of an inning.
Such a big difference working your way back from injuries when you've had the type of injuries that Bailey's had, and your shoulder injuries and the capsule area. It's a much tougher surgery as opposed to Tommy John and the elbow. Any pitcher would prefer Tommy John over the type that Bailey had to go through.
Martin clubs one to left center, gives it a ride. That ball is gone. A home run into the Blue Jays bullpen for Russell Martin, and it's 9-2 Toronto. Well, Paul, we noticed it on Wednesday. The ball's traveling to left, but I don't know if that needed much help.
No, I mean, these home runs tonight, you're seeing a power team just come in and facing a team that just have not made good pitches to this point. Again, that ball's right down the middle. You can't miss inside targets out over the plate. This is what happens. I'll tell you what, if you're at the bottom of this lineup, you kind of feed off those power guys. It just looks so easy for Bautista, Encarnacion, that you just start believing that you're part of something special offensively, and it just becomes much easier to hit.
Pitch is high to Goins. Well, the Blue Jays lead Major League Baseball with 196 home runs. 4 of them tonight to break a tie with the Astros. Yankees are third with 187.
coming into this game, obviously we talked about it. Brendan Ryan, a little off-balance throw, good play. They're almost 100 runs ahead of the Yankees. They were coming into the game, I think it was 89 runs ahead, plus the 7 tonight. I mean, it just offenses usually, you know, kind of top offenses kind of stay head-to-head, but not this year.
Let me throw this at you guys. I've always noticed, especially with the Joe Torre Yankees of his last years, home run hitting teams don't seem like they hit home runs against good pitching. And you could really shut an offense down that doesn't know how to create runs. And I wonder if the Yankees are going through that now in these big games when if they can't hit home runs, they don't really score that many runs.
Well, also, if you look at the Yankees aren't the same team that they were in April when Brett Gardner and Ellsbury were getting on base, stealing bases, scoring runs. I remember time and time again, Teixeira, A-Rod, you know, they were knocking in runs with singles and doubles. It wasn't always the home run. And then, you know, you kind of got spoiled when they started adding the home runs from everybody, too.
That's a great point, Paulie, because when you think about it, we talk about Josh Donaldson and the Blue Jays leading the league in RBIs, but that's absolutely correlated to the opportunities to drive in those runs. So many chances to drive in RBIs, many more than any competitor, and that's a byproduct of what you're talking about. All the guys on base ahead of them.
Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag YesDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
Well, back to your point, Michael, about, you know, home run teams and, you know, you don't hit against good pitching. And we just had the league's leading home run guy, Chris Davis, just left town. Hit his 41st home run, won a game. But, Coney, you know as well as I do, when you look at Chris Davis, if you're an elite pitcher like you were in your time, if you make your pitches, you'll get Chris Davis more than not. So home run hitting teams, home run hitting players, other than the Cabreras and the guys that hit 330, 340, can be pitched to.
And my point is that in big games, you're usually going to have big time pitchers on the mound that make those pitches.
Really, it becomes apparent in postseason play, where obviously the best pitchers are there. And the contrast in the National League with the St. Louis Cardinals, who are doing it all with pitching. As good as the Blue Jays' numbers are offensively, the Cardinals are even better pitching-wise, historically speaking, better than league average. So much far above league average. You know, to me, it's comparative every year in and year out, and kind of sort of the premise of sabermetrics to a certain extent. And we're not going to compare to what Babe Ruth did in 1930, although we can do that. What's the league average? And how much better are you than league average? The Blue Jays, as James Smythe, our statistician here, does such a great job, gives us so many nuggets. 29% above league average. That's the best, as Paulie mentioned, since the '76 Reds, the Big Red Machine. So it kind of brings into context the type of offensive production the Blue Jays have had this year.
Then Revere with a fly ball to center. Ellsbury makes the play. Another run for the Blue Jays on the home run by Martin. We're halfway through. Blue Jays 9, Yankees 2. Driving matters. And by Heineken, open your world. That's a beautiful night here in New York City. That's outside Yankee Stadium. Inside, it's been all Blue Jays on the Bigelow T scoreboard. 9-2. Blue Jays lead, and they also have David Price on the mound. Yankees got a run in the third, a run in the fourth, but they need a big-time rally to get back in this as Jacoby Ellsbury leads off the bottom of the fifth inning. 1-0. Ellsbury is 1 for 2. Fouled straight back here. And under a booth. Nice catch by a fan.
You made a good catch. When fans you don't even know are high-fiving you down there. Huh?
Must be a great feeling. Two-one. 2-2.
Coming into this game, David Price, as a Blue Jay, kind of run the table in terms of quality starts. 7 for 7.
5-1, and he could have had a couple more. Beltran hit that big home run in Toronto. He could. I mean, he's been unbelievable. This is what when you sign an ace, you hope that he brings his ace stuff, and he has.
So Price has been a great deadline acquisition for the Blue Jays, and here are some other notable midseason starting pitcher acquisitions. We see David, our colleague in the middle. He was so important for that Yankee drive to the wild card. You don't like your ERA there, David?
Tells the story, doesn't it?
Got 9-2 in 13 games.
That's not so bad, Coney. Coney always pitched to the scoreboard. Man.
Well supported is what that says right there.
If it was 9-0, you'd give up 4 or 5. If it was 1-0, you threw a shutout. You got to pitch to the scoreboard.
Paulie got it going. Don Mattingly threw caution to the wind and said, if I blow out my back, that's it. And he started swinging hard again. And we really got it going that year.
And that was the first wild card.
It seemed like we won every game down the stretch, and we had to. I mean, the last 20, we talk about what's left in the season. We all talk about playoff odds and what's going to happen. Really, there's a lot of games left. We won almost every game down the stretch the last 3 weeks, and then we had to get that first wild card.
I remember just like winning and winning and winning. You'd walk in the clubhouse and know we got to go through this again tomorrow. We could not gain ground. We were always chasing.
And that led to what still might be one of the great playoff series of all time. There's been books written about it. The 5-game set against Seattle, which actually got Safeco Field built. But a painful memory for you two guys.
Wow. A horrible 3, 4, and 5 game. First 2 was a blast.
One of the happiest videos I saw, Michael, is the implosion of the King Dome. If anybody on Twitter can find that on YouTube and send it to me, it'll brighten my day right now.
I wasn't a big fan of that place either. There was just something about walking in that dungeon.
It was a good video too. The implosion of that building, Michael. Right. I mean, it was all dropped at once, and the King Dome in Seattle. Do not miss that place.
And it was those 3 games, the loudest place you'd ever want to be in. You actually felt ill. It was so loud in there. There's A-Rod with a runner on first and 1 out. There's a strike. Price has a high pitch count for just the 5th inning.
It's funny the memories you have of those things, and you walk out, you're so dejected. The season's over, right? All the wives had traveled on that. My boy, Nellie was pregnant at the time, and she walked down. I remember she had this brown outfit on. She looked like a milk dud at that point. You know, it's just the way it was. And I remember saying, "Don't ever wear that again. It's bad karma, it's bad luck. Just get rid of it." That's what I remember flying home. Don't ever wear that again. Other than Buck Showalter knowing he wasn't coming back, that team was going to change, and you know, everything did change, but it turned into a great thing in 1996.
I remember people crying on that plane.
Yeah.
And everybody just hugging Don Mattingly. The 0-2, 1-2.
Jack McDowell and I in the back of the plane, we couldn't lift our right arms.
One thing Price has done to Alex Rodriguez tonight is he's always been ahead. And first time up, it was off-speed stuff. Second time, it was hard stuff. But every single time, he's gotten ahead of Alex Rodriguez, where Alex has been a little defensive.
Swing and a miss. A-Rod is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts against Price.
I've seen a lot of them tonight, but watch this movement away. Everything's been kind of down and into him. This is down and away. And they turned it over through a good changeup.
That's a pitch that David Price did not have when he first came up with the Rays, and progressively every year it's gotten better and better, and this year is no different. He's throwing it more often, about 23% of the time, from almost 0 back when he was a rookie.
McCann takes a strike. And David and Paul talking about how the Yankees finished in '95. They finished 25-6 in their last 31 games.
That's the thing about hanging around 500 like these Blue Jays did, or really in any year. You want to, at the 100-game mark, if you're 50-50, or at the 80-game mark, you're 40-40, or in that range, and then your hot streak propels you into the race. Now, a plus 20 is pretty impressive.
Especially with that second wild card. If you're 500, I mean, you're in the race, and the organizations know that. You know, you shop players for those kind of numbers, and it's just, I really like what the second wild card has done to baseball. There's so many more teams, more so in the American League this year than the National League. The National League's pretty much played itself out.
But it also adds an urgency to winning the division. It's not okay to get the wild card.
Yeah.
One, 2. And that'll be it on the force. Yankees don't get a run, but we get the quote of the year. She looked like a milk dud. We go to the 6, 9-2 Blue Jays. right Toyota, the official hybrid of the New York Yankees. Now the umpires are getting together, and I don't know what this is about right now. All four congregating by the mound. They seem to be looking over the Blue Jays dugout. And the Blue Jays now standing on the top step of the dugout, looking over the roof of their dugout.
What are you seeing, Michael? Let me in on this.
I don't know. I really have no idea. There seem to be emergency personnel in the stands. And it looks like the emergency personnel helping someone in the stands. So the umpires are stopping the game right now as this goes on. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the foul ball or if somebody just fell ill, but the umpires noticed it right away. Now one of the umpires going over and telling the Blue Jays what's going on. Again, I do not recall a foul ball in that area, but I think it might be that somebody just fell ill. So the umpire is very sensitive to the situation. They're the ones that stopped it. We're in the top of the 6th inning here at the stadium. First game of this 4-game set. Blue Jays are leading the Yankees 9-2. They're going to allow Daly to throw some warm-up pitches as we wait for the medical personnel to attend to the person in the stands. Everybody in that area kind of craning their necks to see what's going on. The Blue Jays, most of them down on the outfield side of the dugout, to look into the stands as well. So it's just to the right of the camera well, which separates the Blue Jay dugout from where the stands begin. So as the medical personnel attends to that person, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, hopefully have more news at that point. There, you know. All right, we are back here at the stadium, and the medical personnel has taken the young man out for help. So hopefully everything is okay as Josh Donaldson takes a strike from Andrew Bailey. 9-2 Blue Jays over the Yanks. Donaldson set the tone early with that long home run, a 2-run shot against Severino in the first inning. Donaldson's 1 for 3. Yeah, the numbers on Donaldson: 38 home runs, 117 runs batted in. You see the batting average, and you wonder the analytics crowd and the sabermetrician crowd, I mean, their belief is that Mike Trout should win it every year. Even the years that Cabrera won it with the Tigers, they felt that Trout should have won it. You wonder, will Donaldson beat out Trout?
I think even within that community, Donaldson rates out well because he's a good defender at third base. And he's been so hot lately. I mean, incredible offensive run by Donaldson. And conversely, Mike Trout's kind of struggled lately, too, and the Angels have fallen back. So right now, I think you could legitimately give the edge to Donaldson.
And there's a base hit for Donaldson. So a leadoff single.
Talked about the scattering report. Last 38 games, I mean, this is the 39th. Obviously, tonight he added another home run. I mean, he's hitting 370, 14 home runs, 49 RBIs. I mean, that's just a lot of production from one player, especially in the middle of a pennant race.
Well, Michael, over the last 30 games, Mike Trout's batting .245. Does have a good on-base percentage as always, but slugging's down too. Just one home run over the last month, and Donaldson's got about 14 of those this last month. I think what the sabermetric community is looking at is, you know, I mentioned it before with Josh Donaldson. It's not just the RBI total, it's the opportunities to drive in runs. He's had so many more opportunities than everybody else that's sort of an unequal stat, even though the old school would say, oh, you got 150 RBIs. Remember Tommy Herr with the second baseman with the Cardinals one year had 110 RBIs, and it was basically Vince Coleman walking, stealing second, stealing third, and Tommy Herr hitting the ground ball to second base.
Right.
It was about opportunities. So that's, you know, another factor into the thinking. Taking nothing away from Josh Donaldson. He's taking advantage of all those opportunities, but it's really the rate at which you produce within those opportunities. Just peeling back layers, trying to identify who the best player is.
3-1 on Bautista. Strike. 3-2.
Again, Bautista, he's right on top of the plate. Back up there, but you know, you'll see from here if that actually gets the corner, and it does.
In on the hands. Foul ball.
Talked about it earlier, why, you know, everybody should stand on top of the plate so you can cover it, but not everybody is that quick inside. He's able to get to that ball inside, and still, you see that back foot. I mean, that's about as close as you can get from being in the batter's box.
The handle of the bat in his hands are almost, that's a bad line I just drew, but pretty close to in the strike zone.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out Bautista. 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Got away with one here. This is a fastball pretty much down Broadway. Bautista kind of, I think, got surprised. Just flat out missed it. It happens. I mean, sometimes I don't think pitchers realize not all mistakes get hit, and a lot of them do, especially breaking balls. I think mistake breaking balls get hit more than fastballs.
High fly ball to center as Ellsbury puts it away to retire Encarnacion. Hey, keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today.
True HD.
True, not fake HD.
Yeah.
Here's Troy Tulowitzki.
Tulowitzki, we've talked about it before. We really admired and kind of based his game around Derek Jeter. He wears number 2. Actually, was it last year he came to the ballpark when he was injured to watch Jeet play a couple games?
You see Tulowitzki's numbers for the season. Very good because he was having a good year in Colorado, but the Blue Jays have been winning since they acquired him. He has not played to the level that he's accustomed to playing. Hitting just about 230 with 5 homers and 16 runs batted in. Now, his arrival has coincided with the Blue Jays taking off, but maybe it's addition by subtraction. Maybe Jose Reyes wasn't working out for them, and just adding Tulowitzki to the mix helped and taking Reyes out.
That's a good point, Michael. A lot of people think he's thinking with that Scotch tape on the side of his head, but a lot of people do think that attitude has a lot to do with it. Tulowitzki, good defensive player, and just the type of a guy that you like to play with. And sometimes Reyes had a lot of antics out there that you had to put you had to get along with. Great player, great talent. And sometimes I think that when you get rid of good players, you bring good players in, and they add a different attitude, then you're a better team.
I was surprised to hear some of the scouts talk about how much better Tulowitzki's defense was than Jose Reyes at this point in Reyes' career. One thing that magnifies it is in their home park, there's been a lot written about the turf in Toronto playing slower this year. And Tulowitzki's getting to so many balls now, so many hits in the hole and making those plays. That's really shown up on the defensive side more than the offense, as Michael noted. Just haven't found a spot in the lineup. They thought, okay, let's just throw him in the leadoff hole. He's never batted leadoff before.
Right.
But, in some ways, you only lead off once a game, so you get an extra at-bat if you're the leadoff guy. A lot of times that 5th at-bat shows up in the 9th inning. But now he's batting 5th, so maybe he'll find his groove. But he's in the protector role now, behind the big boppers.
Popped up. McCann gives it a look, but that'll make the seats.
Well, sometimes, and I like Tulowitzki. I think he's a great player, but I think that you get more impact sometimes from immediate impact from pitchers. I think pitchers, there's not an adjustment like there is as a hitter and an everyday player where you go to a different league. Good stuff gets hitters out in both leagues, where as a hitter, your comfort of knowing pitchers, especially veteran players, sometimes you come over to different leagues and you just don't know the pitching as well. You haven't had many at-bats against a lot of the guys.
Foul back.
That's a really good point, Paulie. It's a lot easier to play David Price's role and not skip a beat than it is Troy Tulowitzki, who's going to play every day.
And what a great situation where, your offense, if you go through get it going and go through a Tulowitzki type week or so, now what's this team become? Because they're already, scoring runs at at record pace.
3-2. Right back to Bailey. And that'll do it in the 6th. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th. 9-2 Toronto. Remembered for a look back at the inspirational stories and magical moments of the Yankees 2015 Hope Week. Nancy Newman hosts Hope Week Remembered tonight after the Yankees postgame only on Yes. And there's a new pitcher. Well, he's new in the game, but he's not new on this earth. The veteran LaTroy Hawkins.
How old is LaTroy Hawkins, James?
I think he's 42.
42, that's it?
I just want to tell you, Paul, I don't know if you realize this. You made LaTroy Hawkins' life miserable as a Yankee.
It wasn't me.
But your greatness, well, they gave him number 21 after you retired, and the fans just didn't like him because he was wearing your number, and then he had to switch to 22. People like you.
I fooled them, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
That's not his fault. That's the clubby's fault.
Robbie's been good.
There's LaTroy's jersey right there.
Nice. Thank you, Michael.
Somebody
They're still selling that. You see that?
Yes.
All the way to the left where they have plenty of them left, you know?
Good number. 21 club.
Many invitations. Have you been there, Coney?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a historical landmark in Manhattan, isn't it?
Wish I was there right now. Yeah, a lot of history there. Definitely. A lot of things happen.
When George Steinbrenner brought the Yankees, every big press conference or when he met with the media, he would have it at the 21
The 21
club.
club. Huh? I'm going to make it a point there. I got to get in there because there were many times where I was invited to go in there, obviously, because I wore 21, but it was just supposedly such a cool place to be a part of. But the Rainbow Room, that was another kind of a neat place, and I did make it up there a few times. Ever go up there, Michael?
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Very cool. Two count on Beltran, who's 1 for 2 tonight. So Price last 5 innings. And leaves with a 9-2 lead. Grounded foul.
What a luxury for Gibbons to be able to take out your ace after 5 innings because of a big lead. You've got big games coming up. Obviously, anytime you can save a few bullets is a good thing to do.
Yeah, no hesitation. Very decisive move.
High fly ball, left field. Revere back. Makes the play. Reaching for the wall.
I was going to say,
have a very long arm to get that wall.
That is a left fielder that has not played in Yankee Stadium a lot. It just goes to show you how well and how comfortable you are at your own home ballpark. But you start reaching for the wall when you're still in the grass.
Chase Headley takes a strike. He was 1 for 2 against Price.
LaTroy Hawkins broke in 1995 with the Twinkies.
They're facing LaTroy Hawkins in Minnesota. You know, you go through now, you go to the ballpark, there are not too many guys that you've played against, guys that you pitched against or guys that I hit against that are still playing. LaTroy Hawkins still out there.
Off the glove of Smoke, and Headley will reach.
Comes off the heel of the glove. The way his head went down, it's kind of like he got a bad hop. But again, as a fielder, when it goes off that heel and you just can't seem to find it, this ball goes straight up in the air.
We'll see how they score that.
Scoring it in the air, Michael.
Did they?
I am.
There it is. Yep. Thank you. E3.
You didn't trust me. You waited to write it in your book until you got the official word. Huh?
I'm working in ink here.
Yeah?
Yep.
No whiteout over there?
No. Now Jack Curry's helping out, and he's chiming in with more information on Hawkins and the number. He said before Hawkins that season, Morgan Ensberg, remember that name? Mm-hmm. He wore 21 in spring training, got unbelievable heat for it from the fans, and ditched it. Said, I want no part of this. Now Hawkins wanted to wear it out of respect for Roberto Clemente. But again, he got so much heat, he said, I don't need this. So. And he ditched it on April 16th, so he just took a couple of weeks of heat and said, I'm out. I don't need the Paul O'Neill heat.
Yeah, I really respected, you know, Jeet and Mariano told me a story that they flat out said, why go through this? And you just get it. And Don Zimmer told me that there were a few times that, you know, guys would make plays in right field. So, you know, O'Neill screwed right field up so bad you can't even play it anymore. So don't worry about it. So maybe that was the same as a number, right?
I think LaTroy Hawkins either started or appeared in David Wells' perfect game.
Started that
game in 1997 on Beanie Baby Day, May 17th.
Well, I almost brought that up at the beginning of our telecast when you promoted the Beanie Baby. You don't know because, you know, Callie's young. Well, when my kids were that age, boy, Beanie Babies were the thing. And if you came home without the newest Beanie Baby, without it, you were in trouble as a parent.
Well, they're giving one away during the White Sox series. Beanie Babies have grown.
Yeah, these are Beanie Beasts.
These are big. These are really nice. This one's called Cleats.
That's got a good chance of getting to your house for the kids, right?
Very good chance. Very good chance.
Cleats.
Cleats. Three and two.
Read about Cleats here.
Give Cleats a pen and he can keep
nice.
score.
Cleats walking the parrot.
Bird pops it up. You know, we had a brief timeout here at the game because of a fan in the stands. And Meredith, you have an update on that fan?
I do, Michael. According to Yankees PR, that fan actually fainted in the front row there next to the camera pit. He is stable and alert, but he's taken to Bronx Lebanon Hospital as a precautionary measure. So that fan, again, stable and alert, but is being taken to Bronx Lebanon Hospital as a precaution.
Thanks, Meredith. So we wish that young man the best. Here's the 3-2. Bird's 0 for 2 tonight, 4 for his last 22.
You know, Paulie, we were talking about LaTroy Hawkins, 42 years old, 1995, he broke in. You know, I'm like you. You look out on the field, is there at least one big leaguer still left that we played against? That's a whole nother level of depression when there's nobody out there.
A couple coaches are still left, a couple managers, but yeah, players, they few and far between. A bullet there to right field. Bird needed that. A couple good at bats to get him going.
He made a big turn, and he gets back at first as Bautista fired in, and Headley moved to third.
Again, I mean, Bird, he's kind of new to the Bronx, obviously. I mean, you get out of the box, you think this is an automatic double, and all of a sudden, you get a good ricochet as a right fielder, you've got a good shot. You'll learn to time those, and you see how quick he gets to the outfielder. Bautista, great arm.
Well, Bird has shown that he's a very good low ball hitter. He drives that pitch down.
Pete Walker comes out and talks with the veteran LaTroy Hawkins. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Here's Didi Gregorius, an RBI single in the fourth. Big blow here, and you can start thinking about it as Brett Cecil is up in the bullpen. And there it is, a big blow, a 3-run home run. See ya, 9-5 Blue Jays.
Talked about Gregorius and how he's matured as a hitter and how he's able to drive the ball now. He's got better balance. And again, hanging sliders go a long way, especially in Yankee Stadium. And it shows a lot to show you what kind of stuff David Price had. Shut him down, and all of a sudden, again, this says hanging sliders become just kind of lukewarm fastballs right where you want them.
What you call speeding up the bat. Anything on the inner half, a hitter normally will guard against the fastball, and then when he starts to swing and commits and he gets a hanging slider, it just allows the barrel to get out in front, kind of run into one. You make solid contact, three-run home run.
Dustin Ackley pinch hitting for Brendan Ryan, and he swings and misses, so it was a walk in the park for John Gibbons. He takes out his ace, and now all of a sudden it's 9-5 with 3 innings to go. Oh, and 2. A little bit of a deviation here for Joe Girardi. He pinch hits against the righty for the second baseman Brendan Ryan and does not send up Stephen Drew. As Ackley pops it up. Tulowitzki for the second out.
I was talking to Joe Girardi about Ackley as you saw that move, and Gibbons is going to make a move, but he really liked the BP he was taking, Paulie. So.
Well, John Gibbons makes a slow walk out to the mound. He's going to call on the lefty as Jacoby Ellsbury comes up. Yankees down by 4. Doubleheader here at the stadium. Game 1's going to be on Fox with coverage starting at 12:30. Then you can turn immediately to Yes for Game 2 as the Jays and the Yankees battle for the division lead. It's a big day of Bombers baseball as this critical division showdown continues. Brett Cecil comes on Tuesday night at Boston. 1 1/3 scoreless innings. He now has a career-high scoreless inning streak of 22 1/3. And you see his season numbers. One swing of the bat changes the perspective of the game, and that's what Gregorius' home run did. You can't say a 4-run deficit is insurmountable with 3 innings left. Here's Ellsbury, who was 1 for 3.
From the Yankee standpoint, you want to force them to use their top relievers, obviously.
Swings at the first pitch and grounds it to Smoke. And Cecil beats Ellsbury to the bag. But the Yankees put a 3-spot on the board. Didi Gregorius, a 3-run shot. He has 4 of the Yankees' 5 ribbies. We go to the 7th, 9-5 Toronto. His shortstop ranks. He's hitting .320, and that's 5th of shortstops all around baseball. He's 4th in hits, 2nd in ribbies, and tied for 7th in runs. And what a difference a couple of months make.
You know what, Mike? We've talked to. He might be the most improved player in baseball from April till now. I mean, he's turned it around defensively, offensively. You know, there were times where he was an out earlier in the year, and he's become just a good, solid, everyday shortstop.
9-5, Blue Jays over the Yankees. Chasen Shreve takes over, and he'll face Justin Smoke. Grounded. Fair, past Headley. Gardner plays the carom. He'll fire to second and hold Smoke to a single, and Headley saying that was a foul ball. You can see he's saying no way. But the third base umpire, Chris Guccione, said it was.
No way from that angle. Obviously, it bounced foul, but you know when it went over the base, from that angle, in this angle, there's no way you can tell.
Yeah, when it went over the base, it was 15 to 20 feet high. Very difficult call.
Here's Russell Martin. Now, Russell was one of the big free agent signings for the Blue Jays during the offseason, and with the acquisitions they've made, he's kind of getting the chance to fly under the radar despite being a big free agent number. Just doing his job and occasionally hitting home runs.
The irony, really, the two catchers right there, McCann and and Martin are really linked. Obviously, Martin was the catcher for the Yankees. Actually, back with the Dodgers, kind of let go. Yankees had a chance to re-sign him for cheap. Let go to the Pirates for a 2-year, $17 million deal. But it was the signing of McCann that set the market for Martin. McCann got the 5-year, $80 million deal. Then Martin followed with a big year, and now he got the big deal. Right on the heels of McCann's deal. So even though you would think, hey, wait a minute, Martin, I wish the Yankees would have kept me, ego or whatever, pride. They signed McCann. McCann actually really helped Martin out by setting that market. And of course, Martin did a very good job of putting up the numbers before he was a free agent again.
Anyway, around it.
That one is drilled to left field, and that ball is gone. A 2-run shot for Martin. And Chasen Shreve is starting to get hit around.
Yeah, he is. He gave up the home run the other night to Chris Davis in the 8th. Ended up being a game winner. Russell Martin's second of the night. Before I could comment on your question, McCann and Martin, two of the most solid catchers in all of baseball. And before he belted another one into the left field bleachers. Given he feels a lot better about taking out his ace, and you could throw up a few more runs. As soon as the Yankees seem to try to get back in it, boom, the Blue Jays say,
Martin just cut him off with the pass there, recognized in, and just beat him to the spot.
These guys, they take a lot of pride in their offense. How many numbers, how many runs they can score up day in and day out.
It was Russell Martin who sort of joked, tongue-in-cheek, that said when they asked him about the Yankees signing of Brian McCann, he sort of joked and said, hey, I think it's an expensive mistake. But that expensive mistake led to him getting his deal. So you never begrudge another player, Paul, because you're brothers. You're all part of the same Players Association. You all push the system. Everybody benefits from the next guy. That's the way it's always been, at least since Marvin Miller came around. That's the way it's been.
Update. Bottom of the 7th inning. Colby Lewis has a perfect game through 7 for the Texas Rangers as the Rangers lead 3-0 over the A's. So we'll keep an eye on that. Bob and Jack will keep an eye on that as well. So a perfect game through 7 innings. One and two.
You look at this game, 11-5 to this point. If it holds out, there's a lot of people going to leave this ballpark saying, hey, you know what, the Yankees are this, they're that, they're not as, you know what, it can change so far, so fast. Tomorrow you come out and win game 1, and all of a sudden you've got an opportunity to win the first 2 out of 3. But obviously by losing the first game, which the Yankees have 9 outs left, it sets up a tough way to try to win 3 out of 4 in a 4-game series. Joe Girardi, if only he knew that weather report from yesterday, Michael. That trying to give some guys some extra days off. They lost 2 games in the 8th inning where Betances would have been in. And you end up getting a rain out.
Paul, let's check in with Bob Lorenz. I think he has some news on that perfect game. Wow, so the pitch count monster won't get him.
No.
And that's not just, dealing with a perfect. Every game is big for Texas right now. The wild card hunt, trying to catch the Houston Astros. 2-way, and the pitch to Ben Revere is low.
Well, Texas has been a team on the move for a while. Getting Derek Holland back off the DL. major surgery, really worked his way back, trading for Cole Hamels, and now Colby Lewis getting it working.
That one is past Bird, a base hit for Ben Revere.
Another guy that we talked about early, kind of flying under the radar with all the big names. Revere's a good player. Good speed, good little hitter, good defense in left field. Just another, void that they filled by bringing in the right player.
Now, Joe Girardi did a call on the right-hander Caleb Cotham to face Josh Donaldson, and you wonder if Chasen Shreve has hit a wall after such a great start for the Yankees over the first 4 months of the season, 5 months even. He has been shaky his last couple of times out. The Yankees trail 11-5. Shave Club, shave time, shave money by TriStateGMC.com and by People's United Bank NA, putting the power of know-how to work for you. Crowd of 40,220 here at Yankee Stadium for this battle for first place. And the Yankees have not gotten great pitching. Luis Severino, Chris Martin, Andrew Bailey, Chasen Shreve. They've all been hurt by the long ball. And now Caleb Cotham will give it a go against Josh Donaldson with a runner on first and 2 outs.
Well, just 3 games. The good news is no walks. Bad news is 10 hits. Looking for more work. Relievers, those numbers can fluctuate wildly. A lot of people feel like, Paulie, the Blue Jays are finally catching up record-wise to what their numbers indicated that their record should be.
Right. I mean, the last 3 or 4 years, every year, I remember down in spring training, talk to people like, this is the year the Blue Jays are going to show some people. And every year, they had some injuries and they just fell short. And all of a sudden, you add a few players, change the whole entire attitude of the team. And you're right. They're where they're supposed to be.
Well, 2 more runs for the Blue Jays on 3 hits. And 1 man left on base. Russell Martin has 3 hits on the night. Came into the game 10 for his last 78. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Blue Jays lead the Yankees 11-5. But on the anniversary of September 11th, we stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
Rise and remove your caps. And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest who is joined by his 2 brothers. NYPD police officer and U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Gerardo Caballero from Brentwood, New York, who served in Operation Enduring Freedom. The Yankees say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the microphone behind home plate and welcome FDNY firefighter Regina Wilson, She will now sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my
On dealer, 11-14-1 for the Blue Jays, 5-8-0 for the Yankees. Gregorius, a 3-run home run. He has 4 ribbies on the night. Former Yankee Russell Martin has 2 home runs, 4 ribbies on the night. And Encarnacion a double and a 2-run home run as well. So the Blue Jays have connected for 5 home runs in this game. And the Yankee pitching just has not done the job.
It's a great point by Jack Curry there and Bob about the adjustments the Blue Jays made to Severino. When we mentioned Severino's first start in Toronto, he dominated the Blue Jays with his fastball and actually got burned with the slider. And tonight the Blue Jays adjusted to him. A veteran team adjusted to him, and he could not adjust back quick enough before there was 5 runs on the board.
Pitch inside to Gardner. Brett tonight 1 for 1, a sac fly and a walk.
Seems to me, Paulie, that was one of the things that you did really well in your Yankee career from your Cincinnati days, because I faced you in the minor leagues, I faced you in winter ball, I know your style well, we're the same age, I was a teammate of yours. We all knew that Seattle with Lou Piniella would always try to knock you off the plate at some point during the series.
Usually.
He'd always try to intimidate you. And I remember in that playoff series against Seattle, Norm Charlton came in and tried to do it again and again. And then finally you'd had enough and you turned on him and hit it halfway up in the playoffs to let him know you made the adjustment on him rather than, you wanted to hit the ball the other way or hit it where it was pitched. And finally you'd had enough and you turned.
Well, once in a while you got to look for a pitch, but I look at adjustments, but sometimes as a hitter, when you start adjusting so much to the pitcher, it almost takes you out of what you do. And I never wanted to be like a pull hitter to try to hit a guy and give away what you do. And when you make so many adjustments up there, again, I think you're giving the pitcher too much credit, because I think that if a guy's going to come in and a guy is going to go, not always are they going to hit their spots. There's time and time again, and we'll show replays where that catcher's moving his glove. It's not that easy to continually hit those spots that you want to hit inside and outside. Let's face it, hitting usually is a mistake from a pitcher. Most home runs you've seen tonight are all pitches that have not been thrown where they were supposed to be located.
You're right. That's how you went 4 for 4 off of me on opening day at Yankee Stadium.
That's just where your defense was playing in the wrong spot.
That got your Yankee career off to a good start.
I appreciate you, Cody.
4 for 4. George was standing ovation in the box. I remember looking at him up there.
Cody's always had that red face on the mound. It's like 40 degrees on opening day. You're looking out, and Cody's face is just bright red out there.
I knew you so well. I knew you could drive the ball in the left center gap, and I'm pitching you away, and Brian McKay, the center fielder, is playing there in right center, and you drilled one in the gap, and I just snapped on the pitching coach when he came out. I'm pitching him away.
There's a base hit for Brett Gardner as he leads off the 7th with a single. And we go back to our studio where Bob Lorenz has an update. So Valencia breaks up the perfect game.
That's the way it works. You get so close. Sometimes like a fart in the wind, it's just gone.
All right, here's Alex Rodriguez. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
It's 11-5.
0-1.
Courtney, how many times you go to like the 9th inning with no hitter?
I had about a half a dozen from the 7th on. I lost one with the Blue Jays in the 9th inning with 1 out and an 0-2 count. One in the 8th, a couple in the 7th. Yeah.
And he didn't lose one. He was taken out after 7 innings when he came back from the Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
And I was facing Mike Mussina when he lost his with 2 outs in the 9th, if you remember it.
In Boston.
That
was one of the weirdest flights back I remember, because, a guy just lost on 2 outs in the 9th, and I remember sitting, you would sit next to a guy on the plane, but it'd be a seat in between you. And I didn't know whether to talk to him, whether he's glad he pitched a good game or he lost a no-hitter, and we just didn't have much conversation on the way back.
2 outs, 0-2 count. Carl Everett.
Yeah. Didn't he pinch hit there too?
Yes, he pinch hit, came off the bench. It was a high fastball, probably a ball out of the zone. Kind of a little hump back, broken back.
I feel it.
Mine was Benji Gill, 0-2 pitch.
Benji Gill.
Same thing as we've seen. If Carl Everett, you wonder what you're thinking about, but you have a split second to make that decision.
Right.
When you're in that situation. Benji Gill would have swung at a slider 10 feet off the plate if I would have thrown it. So would have Carl Everett on Mussina, but we both threw him fastballs.
Rough night for Alex Rodriguez as he has the golden sombrero. 4 strikeouts for A-Rod.
Another good breaking ball from Cecil, and it's right over the heart of home plate. Just past home plate, as you see in the dirt. Those are really effective pitches. Alex caught in between.
Well, Alex, against the Orioles, I kept commenting on how good his balance was, how good his swings were. You know, he hit a few home runs back-to-back days, but today he's been out on his front foot a little bit. They've changed speeds on him a lot.
One and one to McCann. McCann's 0 for 3 tonight. 2 ground balls to second. 1 to the right side. Tulowitzki made the catch and flipped to second on the force to the third baseman, Donaldson. That one's popped up. Russell Martin tosses away the mask, gets to the screen, and it's over the screen.
Got to talk about the big upset. Be no grand slam, huh?
Amazing. Serena Williams going for the grand slam and just 2 wins away, and she lost to Roberta Vinci.
Not much of a press conference, are you?
Yeah, well, I think 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, that was enough.
A little bit of a letdown after the big sister match.
Yeah, no doubt.
We had Patrick McEnroe on today from the Open, and he said that loss by Serena Williams ranks up there with Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, and USA Russia. That's how big it was. Because Vinci's like a 32-year-old okay player, kind of a journeyman type of player.
What happens when you get on in your career, Paulie? I mean, I could pitch one good game, but then I couldn't recover. You know, my stuff would diminish.
To show you on given nights, man, you just don't have it.
But I wonder, you once brought this up to me, Paul, in 1998. She wasn't just playing Roberta Vinci today. She was playing history. You know, to get this Grand Slam, first one since Steffi Graf in 1998. A man hasn't done it since Rod Laver in 1969. You guys in 98, you weren't just trying to win a World Series. You're trying to have the best record of all time. That was a heavy burden.
I felt more pressure going into that World Series probably than any of them, because, you know, it means nothing to win that many games unless you take home a World Series trophy. And you're right, you start pressing a little bit. You know, you start gripping things a little tighter, trying a little harder, and it doesn't take you much to get out of that comfort zone where you just don't perform the way you're accustomed to performing.
That one is a fly ball to deep left, but foul, and proof positive of what you're saying, Paul. Seattle Mariners won 116 games. People will never remember that team because they didn't win the World Series. You guys won 114, but they add on the 11 because you won the World Series. They say 125 and 50.
That was 2001. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, remember, we beat them in the playoffs, and again, that team will be remembered as a good team, but they'll never remember it as a great team because they didn't win a World Series.
Kind of a footnote.
Yeah.
Now, you know, getting by Cleveland in '98 was scary because they knocked us out in '97. That's when you almost broke your neck sliding into second base. And that's when George called you the Warrior. That's how you got the nickname, the Warrior. It's because you didn't know how to slide.
Exactly.
You almost broke your neck.
Because I was in trouble. We haven't come up with a trick slide at the time.
Swing and a miss. So 3 Yankees go down on strikeouts after the Gardner single. We're going to the 8th inning. It's 11-5 Toronto. Your strongest fan photo to hashtag YesDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. R.H. Gutierrez, 79. Little Yankee helmet, couple of Yankee cups, a lot of Yankee paraphernalia. Looks like Boris Becker in the background.
Smiles on their face. I'm going to say that picture was taken before the game.
Yes, I would think so.
Good chance.
Caleb Cotham starts off Bautista with a ball. Hyundai scoreboard 11-5 Toronto.
One of the new parts of the schedule this season, Paulie, is you get the Mets in September. You got a big 3-game series coming up. Yeah, they're riding high over in Queens, and the Yankees are going to go over to Citi Field. Big 3-game set. I think the Mets are holding back Matt Harvey for that series too.
Now the big thing that went on with Harvey, is he on an actual pitch count or an innings count? Where are we standing with this thing?
Well, they say they don't want him to get that far over 180. At least Scott Boras does. And the Mets say it's kind of a soft 180. If it's 185, 190, and then the playoffs don't count. I never understood that. So the playoffs don't count. Those might be the most pressure-packed, highly leveraged innings that you'll have. And if you go all the way, you might make 5 starts, and that'll add 35 innings to your total. And that's okay, though.
Right.
But they are skipping his next start, and he's due to pitch against the Yankees and might start in that 3-game set against the Nationals, which doesn't look like it's going to mean anything. Base hit. David, we never really got your take on it. I know you were very upset when the Nationals shut down Strasburg and didn't let him pitch in the playoffs. And, you know, now we kind of get the backstory to that. Scott Boras was probably pulling some strings there, didn't want him to, after TJ surgery, go that far. What did you think of the Harvey situation?
Well, you know, I think the fact that they now have a 7-game lead takes the issue and puts it on the back burner. If it were a barn-burning pennant race and you're skipping a couple of starts for Matt Harvey, boy, that could be a difference maker for the Mets. So.
Encarnacion pops it up. Bird near the Yankee dugout. Runs out of room.
I understand how some of the fans out there would think there's some hypocrisy going on with regard to Matt Harvey saying, I don't want to be in a 6-man rotation. He would argue with Terry Collins about coming out of the game. I love that about Matt Harvey. But then all of a sudden there was a reversal. I think it should have been handled internally. I'm not sure who the first leak was. Whoever leaked it first, whether it was Boras or the Mets front office, whether it was an email from Boras that started this whole thing, somehow the media got a hold of that. And whoever did that is guilty. This should have been handled internally.
Well, the first we heard of it was when John Heyman of CBS Sports interviewed Scott Boras. That's when it became public. I think there had been some dialogue between the Mets and Boras behind the scenes, but then when John Heyman quoted Boras, it became a national story.
Yeah, it shouldn't have happened that way. This should have been handled internally. There's a real disservice done to Matt Harvey in that regard. It's a legitimate question. Coming off of Tommy John surgery.
Swing and a miss. Well, the thing that makes it seem like it doesn't jive is I don't want to be in a 6-man rotation. Every time you take him out after 6 innings, he's really angry, and he gives Terry Collins a hard time. And then when he had that interview in the dugout after the Boras comments, he kind of backed up Boras and didn't say, I'm pitching no matter what. And then that was met really negatively. And then he wrote a story in Derek Jeter's Players Tribune, kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Said,
yes.
Of course I want to pitch in the playoffs.
Tried to clean it up, yes. I mean, it was mishandled all the way around, in my opinion. Should have been handled in-house, internally. It's a legitimate discussion to have. A good discussion to have. Matt Harvey's pitched well. He's going to push up against potential innings limit. What's the best thing to do here? I was always a big believer in extra rest. And Paul, you saw me take extra rest and come back lights out. Actually, in 1999, I pitched once a week the whole month of September. Mel Stoudemire came to me with Joe Torre and said, we want to skip you a start. I was older, had some miles on my arm after the perfect game, and I wanted more regular rest. I said, just like Sunday no-mo, pitch me. I pitched every Tuesday in September. That's the way they did it in Japan. Tanaka's used to that, once a week. And it really paid off. I pitched well against the Red Sox. I skipped the first wild card round, pitched well against Game 2 against the Red Sox, and pitched well against the Braves in the World Series. Just pitched twice in postseason. Really worked out well, the extra rest. Hal Harvey should be something similar. I don't think you can count on him pitching twice every series. He's probably a Game 3 guy once a series.
You never lost, control-wise. Some pitchers really lose, that feel and that control with those extra days. And you always seem to control was never an issue. You were just stronger.
Part of that is mechanics. I would much rather pitch feeling a little stronger, especially towards the end of the year, than dead. Because once you're dead, you can't get the life back in your arm. You're useless.
2-2 to Tulowitzki. Lines that one to right field, and it's caught on the run by Beltran. I thought that Joe Girardi, when he spoke about this, I guess it was last weekend, I thought he had a great thought. He said, I'm a firm believer, if you have an innings limit on a pitcher, and you know at the beginning of the year, don't pitch him in April.
Yeah, I heard Joe say that. It makes a ton of sense.
Management skills until you start out 5-15 in April.
Right.
Yeah. Best laid plans.
And he said a lot of teams can't do that because they need that starter. He said, but if you've got an abundance of starters, let the guy stay in Florida. He doesn't have to pitch in the cold weather. He doesn't have to build up his arm in April. And then all of those innings that you pitched in April, he's got free to use in September. Makes sense.
Very much. It's about managing the issue. Michael, we've talked about it. The game's moving towards a 6-man rotation. Well, really, you need 7, 8, 9 starters to start the season out. You really need, a lot of depth in your rotation. And if you think about the management side of things, this is nothing new. Casey Stengel did it with Whitey Ford. It's been done before. Casey would hold out Whitey and then match him up. You take a couple days rest. I'd rather you pitch against this team, the Brooklyn Dodgers. It was after Casey Stengel left that Whitey Ford went on
big win totals.
He went on a 4-man rotation. He also hurt his arm.
Yeah,
that's when he came up with arm injuries.
Yeah, when you look at Whitey's final win total, it probably could have been more, but Casey used him judiciously. He didn't get as many starts as all starters would get.
It's all been done before. Management is going to be a key issue moving forward.
1-1 count on Justin Smoke. 1-2.
The thing I think probably is a little overrated is the whole stretch him out thing. When I was in the bullpen early in my career and I got a spot start, I was fine. I could give you 50, 60 pitches right now. This whole stretch him out thing, like Adam Warren, he's ready to go. He threw 50 pitches the other night.
Right. That's almost like a side day. So, he could come back in 3-4 days. You don't need that 4 or 5 days.
That's a nice inning for Caleb Cotham. 2 strikeouts. He leaves 1 runner stranded. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Highlights and reaction from tonight's game, plus the latest playoff race updates from around the league, and Joe Girardi's manager's report. It's all coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame, and that's only on Yes. A new pitcher for the Blue Jays, it's Mark Lowe, hard-throwing right-hander, another one of their additions as they started to pick up players in July, changed the way the team was regarded. 55 strikeouts and 46 and 2/3 innings. On day scoreboard 11-5. Blue Jays. Headley chops to Donaldson. One pitch, one out.
Lowe, one of those guys that was coveted by just any team that's in a race right now. That right-handed power guy that can shore up a bullpen. Came over from Seattle. It's as if the Blue Jays had a shopping list and it was Christmas and they just checked off exactly what they wanted. And you're the kid at Christmas, you got everything you wanted.
And they gave up a lot of young talent for all the deals they made, but you ask them right now, they're going to say, hey, it was worth it. There's no guarantee that these kids are going to be anything. And these are the acquisitions they made, and all of them have contributed. They traded 11 pitching prospects and Jose Reyes. And it wasn't as if the Rockies coveted Reyes, but there had to be some exchange of salary because they took on a lot of salary in Tulowitzki. But 11 of their top pitching prospects. But when you got your job on the line, like the GM and the manager did, you're not buying green apples.
Yeah, I mean,
or green bananas.
There's developmental issues, long-term health of your system, and then there's business issues. And this is a big payoff for the Blue Jays. The television ratings through the roof, attendance. This will have a residual effect.
Bird pops it up. Donaldson for the second out. And that's going to bring up Didi Gregorius, and we'll take a look at his 6th inning at bat. This replay brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here.
Troy Hawkins kind of hung a little slider over there. Didi Gregorius at the time with the Yankees back in the game. Blue Jays have tacked on a few more to make it 11-5.
That home run made it 9-5, and then the very next inning, Russell Martin hit a 2-run home run off Chase and Shreve, and Blue Jays got some breathing room. So Gregorius with 4 ribbies tonight. He's 2 for 3. And a strike from Lowe.
Talk about all these trades and what Toronto's done, and you also, as an organization, got to realize you've got windows of opportunities, and it usually comes in like 3 or 4 year spans. And if you don't win, you know, a World Series at that time, or at least get to a World Series, those times are gone. Players are gone, and you don't know how long it's going to be. As I look back, we were talking about Seattle. I mean, they had that window. They put no World Series together with the talent. Edgar Martinez, Griffey, A-Rod, Randy Johnson. I mean, those teams have got to win a World Series. They never did. And there are teams that, you know, the Texas Rangers had that window a few years ago where they went to the World Series and didn't win. And it's just, you've got to win as an organization and take chances when you have that chance.
Ben Revere calls off Donaldson, makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning for Lowe as we go to the 9th at the stadium.
Well, I think there's a lot to choose from. Russell Martin, the former Yankee, cuts him off with a pass, goes deep into the bullpen, reignites the offense. Russell Martin again. Twice. Big fly for Russell Martin back at Yankee Stadium. 2 big home runs, too, so the Land Rover drives of the game as Russell Martin steps in the box for another shot.
Martin 3 for 4. And he faces Brandon Pinder, the Yankees' 6th pitcher. It was all downhill after Severino served up the home run to Donaldson in the first. First time we've seen the 21-year-old with nothing. And didn't make it out of the 3rd inning. So after Severino, it was Martin, Bailey, Shreve, Totham, and now Pinder. This is the 20th game for Brandon. David Price was the recipient of all those runs, and he's looking to go 15-5. Only had to go 5 innings today.
6-1 with the Blue Jays since he's been called over. If you look back at Severino, it wasn't that he didn't have velocity. It was all about location. He was up in the strike zone. He hung a couple sliders, got in fastball counts, challenged the wrong people with high fastballs. Just wasn't able to find his changeup and get anything down in the strike zone.
It's amazing. You can hear in the background, the Blue Jay fans have taken over here. They're chanting, "Let's go Blue Jays," and that angers Yankee fans, and that's the booing you hear in the background.
Wow.
And that's in the left field bleachers, and the Yankee fans that have remained, they're not too thrilled with it. That's when you hear the booing in the background as they start chanting, "Let's go Blue Jays."
So they stuck him out there in left center field, though.
Well, the other caveat to this is there's always, something to be said for overcoming an obstacle. And for the Blue Jays, it's been the Yankees over the last 20 years. The Yankees have really dominated the Blue Jays collectively. Season series, I think the Blue Jays have only won twice over the last 20 years.
It's funny, though, right when I came over, it was, Cito Gaston and the Blue Jays were winning World Series, and they, there was a presence when they took the field, and it lasted for 2 or 3 years when I was here, and then, since then, Toronto has just not been on pace to compete in the American League East.
And the Blue Jays are 8-4 against the Yankees this year, looking to go 9-4 with a win tonight. They're up 11-5 and out into the top of the 9th. Here's Ryan Goins.
You're right, Paulie. It's really been since touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run. It's 1993.
Up the middle, a base hit for Goins. So he joins the party. He was 0 for 4 before that single. That breaks an 0 for 14 for him.
For the Blue Jays back in the early 90s and that Joe Carter home run I mentioned, the team for them to get over the hump was Oakland. They couldn't beat Oakland. Oakland was the team that knocked them out of the playoffs. So finally getting over that hurdle was a big jump, and then they won back-to-back World Series titles. Get the feeling this year, and Bautista and some of the guys over there have been very vocal about it. They're gunning for the Yankees, and they've come out and played like they're really hungry.
Pilar's 0 for 4 tonight. He is the only Blue Jay in the starting 9 without a hit. Blue Jays have 16 hits.
So when you're staring at a doubleheader tomorrow on Saturday, Paulie, and you and I have been in that position many times, and whoever wins the first game takes the pressure off a little bit. 2 games in 1 day. You worry about sweeps. More than likely you're going to split.
Obviously, it comes down to very important tomorrow to come to the ballpark. Hey, we got beat up last night. So what? It's 1 game. A lot can happen in a 4-game series. But tomorrow, that first game, that first 3 innings for that starting pitcher, you need to to show this Blue Jays offense that, you know, you're not going to come in here and just score 8, 10 runs a game. You need to shut them down. Give your offense a chance to get a lead where you get a little confidence.
And the starters for the Yankees in the doubleheader, Ivan Nova and Michael Pineda. I think we have Pineda going in game 1 and then Nova in game 2.
Certainly makes sense from the Yankee standpoint. You want your the higher pecking order guy to go first, especially now.
In doubleheaders, David, would you rather have picked the first or the second game?
I like to get it out of the way. I like the first game. I didn't like sitting around waiting to go to work all day. Kind of work yourself into a frenzy, Paul.
Sometimes you get a think too much when you watch a game before you get an opportunity.
And if you're Joe Girardi, I mean, you don't want to play your veterans both games, but these games are important. So you got to pick and choose who's going to not play 2 games. Did you mind playing two games, Paul?
Not at this time of the year. I mean, you assume that, you know, if the games meant a lot, that you were in 2 games, and, you know, unless there were certain matchups that gave the manager, you know, a reason to keep you out of it. I mean, if Randy Johnson was throwing the second game, chances are he wasn't playing. But you had 2 pitchers that you handled. Sure, you expected to play both games. Again, we went over it earlier. I mean, that's as a position player. It's not as a catcher or somebody like that. But, you know, McCann flat out told you, you know, as a catcher, you're not going to catch 2 games in a day.
Oh, Didi stayed with a tough hop and turned it into a 6-4-3 double play. He's having some game. Can't say the same thing for the rest of the team. No runs a hit and nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Fashion single admission doubleheader here at the stadium. Game 1 is going to be on Fox with coverage starting at 12:30. Then turn immediately to Yes for Game 2 as the Jays and the Yankees battle for the division lead. It's a big day of Bombers baseball as this critical division showdown continues. It has been a good night for the Yankees. They start this 4-game set by getting up 5 runs in the first inning. And now the Blue Jays will ask Aaron Loop to get the final 3 outs and pitch the 9th.
Only 6 walks, 37 in the 3rd innings.
Rob Refsnyder is going to pinch hit for Stephen Drew. And there's a strike. We saw Refsnyder right before the All-Star game and a couple of games here at the stadium, and then he disappeared. They sent him back down, and he was not to be seen. Had a big home run at Fenway. And I just think that they felt they needed sure hands at second base. That's the only thing you could imagine.
And to be fair, Stephen Drew has been coming on for a while. I mean, his second half numbers are pretty good. Hasn't just been a recent surge. I mean, obviously his first half numbers were well below par, but if Look at him since the All-Star break. Very decent numbers offensively, including the power.
1-2. Ref Snyder fouls it away.
I think the question for Joe Girardi tomorrow in maneuvering his lineups, he's limited option-wise because of Alex Rodriguez as the DH.
Yeah.
So does he make that call? Because Brian McCann's not going to catch 2 games, but do you want Brian McCann's bat in that second game against Marcus Stroman? You have 2 righties for the Blue Jays. I would not be surprised to see Alex sit one of those games that McCann does not catch, and McCann DHs tomorrow in one of those games.
Michael, you asked me, you depend, do you expect to play those games? And I tell you one thing: if you're an everyday player and you have a good game, that first game, absolutely you want 4 more at bat. The manager does it. Say McCann has a great game at the plate. Sure, he DHs the second game.
In this ballpark especially, he's been so good with that short porch and right.
Broken back, ground ball to third. Donaldson fields off balance throw. That's a nice play.
Talk so much about his offense. I mean, he can play third base too, and that's just good instincts. I mean, right off the bat, come in kind of an in-between hop, get rid of it, makes it look easy.
That guy right there.
It's your MVP, I say.
Yes.
To this point.
More to be played, but he's got the lead.
Here's Ellsbury. And a strike.
Blue Jays have added 11 runs on their season total here. They've now scored 771 runs on the year and only given up 575. So, I mentioned earlier, Paulie, that they're catching up where the record should be. The Pythagorean record has them at 87 and 52 based on those numbers. The run differential between runs allowed and runs given up, and it's not foolproof, but you'd be surprised. You look at just those 2 numbers, runs given up and runs allowed.
Tony, you're getting deep on us here in the 9th, man. Huh? A little extra time here to really dig deep into the numbers.
Pythagoras was a smart guy.
Yeah.
He was. He was a mathematician, left-handed reliever.
Good stuff.
Very smart guy.
You got your own theorem. You got it working. How many people have their own theorem?
That's right. The Pythagorean theorem. I don't know it, but can't remember it at this point.
But no doubt the record has caught up in a hurry. Is the Blue Jays looking to go 20 games over 500 with this win. Yankees high water mark, Michael, I think it's been 18, 17, 18.
I think it was 18.
They haven't been able to push through. They kind of hung around 15, dropped back to 10 over. That's what you and I talked about when we played, those levels, 10 over, 15 over, 20 games over 500.
At 20 games over 500, you're looking at setting up your starting rotation for the playoffs.
Blue Jays got 20 games over 500 in a hurry, in a short period of time. Very rare to see a team hang around 500 and go plus 20 in a hurry in less than a month, a little over a month. Historic run. Blue Jays low point, as you see Gardner 2 for 3, swung about well tonight. Got robbed on a line drive to right too. Blue Jays low point was July 28th. They lost at home to the Phillies and dropped below 500. They were 8 games behind the Yankees at that point. From that point on, the Jays have played at a 124 win pace. 29-9. The Yankees really haven't collapsed. That's the misnomer here. The Yankees have, since that point, played, they're 20-19, right around 500 baseball. Not great, but not a collapse. The Blue Jays have played at a historic pace to jump to 20 games over 500 now with this win.
Swing and a miss. Martin will throw to first. And the Yankees go down meekly in the ninth inning and lose this game 11-5 as David Price picks up the victory with 5 innings of work. The Blue Jays, who lead the majors with the long ball,